to themselves. He's got more of a problem with us than he does with the Bloods and the Crips.
Or even his own.
That's a bigger issue than us.
It's running.
Really?
Yeah. I say even amongst his own Christian brothers, you know?
Yeah, like Shalom.
Shalom.
First I'd like to say Kal Halal Yahweh
Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem HaKadosh.
And double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and truth. And you know, before camp we were having a little conversation. We were always reasoning, you know, right and wrong, and you know, certain perspectives. And we were talking about badness, you know, because you know, bad things happen, man. People get killed, right? This is a reality of the world, man. People get brutally slain, beatings, right? Now, according to you know, the Christian, which is a hypocritical stance when you think about it, right? It's a very hypocritical stance, but here it is. When we talk about brutalizing the Edomites in the kingdom of heaven, they want to cast us out as being evil, like it's an evil thing for us to put the so-called white man in slavery and the other nations in captivity and chains. Like that makes us evil, or it makes us evil to want to brutally slay Edomites in the kingdom, which we will, right? But the reality is that it's not wicked.
Can I quickly say something?
Yeah, go on.
Because it will be evil. It will be bad time for you Edomites. It's going to be a bad time, but there's also a thing called necessary evil. When the Lord does judgment and destruction, it's evil on that particular people, or whatever's going on. But it was necessary for judgment. Right,
you can be justified. And it's also like that in the law. You know, that's why the scripture says the blood shall not be upon you. Like, and by the way, this is put a disclaimer on, we're under the time of grace, so we're not supposed to go around beating people up or putting people to death. But it's just for your own perspective that they want us to be passive in terms of even our mentality. Our desires, our mentality, they want us to be passive thinking. But we don't have to be passive thinking. We can desire their end. We can desire their destruction, and that doesn't make us bad. It doesn't make us evil people because we desire the destruction of America, or we desire the destruction of our enemy, because that's a righteous thing with the Most High. In fact, you getting something?
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, get Revelations 13. That's part of our faith, man.
It's Sirach chapter 25 verse 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies.
Now, our enemy, we're going to have joy. We're going to rejoice when our enemy falls. And who's our enemy? Well, our base enemy of the other nations, beginning with the so-called white men. They're our enemies. The Bible tells you, Deuteronomy 28:68, that we were sold unto our enemies for bondman and bondwoman, and no man shall buy us, man. Esau, Edom is our enemy, man. And of course we want to see his fall. Now, when it says we want to see his fall, you think that just means you get fired or something like that? And no, we're talking about we want to see you in suffering. We want to see you and your family suffering. We want to see your children suffering. Does that make us bad people? Because your children are going to be suffering. We're not going to spare the children. The children are going to know the loss of life. They're going to know brutality. They're going to know the loss of their parents. They're going to know pain. And we ain't going to feel no way about it, man. Because that's what it's like when you bring judgment. And that's been like that from the very beginning. When we went into the land of Canaan, what was it? When we went in against them cities, man, we didn't show no mercy and no pity to them nations, man. And we weren't crying about it and getting depressed.
And we was told not to. We was told not to spare. But even Israel got soft, you know. But the Lord told us not to spare, because it was the Lord's desire, the Lord's will. And that's all that really matters, man. The Lord desires Esau to go into 1,000 years of slavery, being hurt and punished, man.
But they'll take a clip, oh, see the Hebrew Israelites, they're saying this and saying that, and they try and like use that as like you're making us look bad. Now fuck you, man. How are we gonna look bad, man? It's just righteousness. Did you look bad when you attacked Afghanistan? Did you look bad when you attacked Iraq and you justified it? Where was Vocab Malone and all these guys? Were you protesting the war in Iraq? Were you protesting the war in Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Or did you justify it?
Did you wait for God then? Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. The funny thing is, man, when we accept our vengeance, Yahweh Shai is going to be here with us, man. So we were actually waiting for him to give us the power to do that, man. Because right now we don't have no power to do anything. That's why we're just sitting and chilling, man.
But that don't mean we're not going to desire it. In fact,
right.
give me Revelations 13 and 9, Baba Kashar.
It's Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Now, putting someone into captivity is not nice. There's nothing nice about that. Especially when you're the one going into captivity. Because when you put in someone into captivity, it's hardly ever gonna be like some a U rated U. It's gonna be brutal.
Ain't gonna be Disneyland, you know.
Ain't gonna be a Disney production. It's gonna be brutal. People are gonna be getting put down. Any resistors are gonna get brutalized. They're gonna be killed.
It's been the same in any slavery, any slave system.
Yeah, you put in someone, you're dominating.
Disregard of someone's life.
Disregard of their life, disregard of their comforts.
Positions,
You don't care about their comfort. Oh, let me just put this cushion down. For you.
Yeah, so you gotta sit on.
They're gonna be getting beaten. They're gonna be getting brutalized, man. And the men, Salaki, let me just say this: the men, the women, the children. So you could listen. Human rights, women's rights, children's rights. That's gonna go out the window, and it's always been like that. So when it says that he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, we desire for these Edomites and other nations to go into captivity. There ain't nothing nice about that. Now you might get a Hebrew Israelite camp out there that trying to be over righteous because they don't understand what righteousness is. Because David chopped off Goliath's head. Was that wicked or was that righteous? David was one of the first head removal specialists. David killed a man and then mutilated his body afterward. Let's put it like that. He killed a man, bust his forehead, and then he removed his head.
The enemy of Israel.
And his enemy. Was he unrighteous? Was something wrong with him? Was he sick in the head? No. There ain't nothing wrong with David. The Bible tells you David was a man after the Most High's heart, man. The Most High was down with that. But you see, you got Hebrew Israelites that they want to be nice. Oh, well, when we put these other nations in slavery, they try to make it look like it's employment or it's going to be nice. And excuse me, sir, would you like to put these chains on? Because I'm so righteous. No, man, we're going to fucking bust man up, man.
There's no choice.
What are you talking about? We're going to be hateful. Oh, these guys are preaching hate. You're damn right we're preaching hate. You can put me on record. We're preaching hate to our enemies. How the hell are you going to put someone in slavery out of love? That's stupidity, man.
Well, I didn't hear none of those positive narratives was, talking about Osama bin Laden or Saddam or Gaddafi. I didn't hear no positive, those types of narratives.
Of course it's going
They
to be
want him
hate.
dead.
Why wouldn't it be hate, man?
Well, I was going to say this, right? You got a whole problem with the slavery thing, but guess what? No nation ever went into slavery because they were righteous, They all went into slavery because they were wicked. And so that goes to show you something. That's the reason why we were put into slavery, because we were being wicked. So you other nation wouldn't go into slavery if you wasn't wicked, man.
And we're going to be righteous because it's the righteous judgment of the Heavenly Father.
That's how the Lord punishes people, man, by putting them into slavery. The Lord hasn't got a problem with slavery. Well, the Lord does have a problem with his children being in slavery under the other nations. That's what he has a problem with.
But we never transgressed against you.
Because we have a system for slavery in the scriptures.
They put us in captivity out of their own greed and their lusts and their own evil hearts. We're putting you out of captivity for righteous revenge and judgment. There's a difference.
Yeah, it's not like you other nations put us into slavery to correct us and to make us better. You weren't on that.
It was just
Esau's even the devil, because he trying to remove that from us completely. He weren't trying to correct us and say, look, you ain't doing this right. The Lord says this. You ain't trying to teach you nothing, man.
They were just trying to make money, man, and elevate themselves.
That's right. Exalt themselves.
And now you're gonna have to pay for that in righteousness. Go on,
It says, verse 10, verses 13 and 10 says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
They're gonna be killed with the sword. These Edomites are gonna suffer the loss of life in brutal fashion. There ain't not gonna be no nice way to destroy the enemy, man. So we're not preaching the nice way, because that don't exist, and that's not going to be according to reality, because we really do. Not only do we hate you, the Lord is going to make sure that we have hate for you. And when you got hate for someone, there ain't nothing nice about it. So you Edomites are going to be getting the same treatment. But right now, Jake hate each other. And you see what Jake do to each other, right? You know what happens when Jake catch the ops, how they deal with them. 100 bullet in the face. Yeah, brutally, mutilations. That's what's going to be happening to you other nations and you Edomites, man. The brutalization. Is that going to be alright?
No, I don't think it will. We've gone on the camp.
It might be, it might be alright.
I'm worried that the water's going to press the button, innit? And stop the stream, innit?
Just shut it down then.
For the screen, yeah?
Yeah.
So the camera's still going to be on, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still be on.
There's waterproof. The camera's waterproof, right?
Supposedly, yeah. Allegedly. Water resistance, maybe.
Yeah.
Not waterproof, but it's alright.
Back in verse 10 says, here is what? He that liveth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience. And this is why, because we ain't got the power to do that, we've got to be quiet, man.
We have to suffer it.
Yeah. Suffer your rule over us, man, how you treat us. Suffer the conditions that we live in.
Well, when you don't receive justice, it's a what's it called? Debilitating form of stress and suffering. The elder Ayathan did a video on stress. When you don't receive justice, man, it's like a wound within you, a deep wound. You could ask anyone, like ask any family member who has had their son or their daughter or anyone murdered, and how much it's a wound, especially when they don't feel like they receive justice. It's like a wound within them that can't be healed. You know, when someone do something to you and you can't get your get back, it hurts. It actually feels like a pain. And that's our people. That's why they say, oh, get that chip off your shoulder. Because our people are in pain, because deep down inside, we know that we've been dealt with dirty and we haven't received justice for that. And you have to suffer the same, man, standing up in your face, grandstanding. You got vocab Malone's trying to teach us righteousness, grandstanding above us, and it's vexating. Because really what you want to do in the spirit, it just busts man's head, but you know you can't. So it's a form of you have to suffer, you have to be patient. We want to put these devils in captivity today.
Well, another term for that is closure.
Yep.
We've had no closure, we've had no resolve of our situation, because we've been through bad, but we're still living in the bad conditions, man, with no real hope in sight. We're trying to make hope out of Esau, trying to do things for us, but that's never going to happen, right? And the scripture says this, right? This is part of the prophecies, right? In Revelation 11 verse 9. And it says, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to put in graves. That's no closure. You don't told us who we are. You ain't trying to elevate us, man. You continuously oppressed us, man. And we've got no justice for the things that happen to us. You know? So we're still suffering from that. Because we've still not really got out of the situation that we've been put in.
We're suffering in faith, because we're looking, that's why it says the patience and the faith. Because our faith is that these things are going to appear. We're having faith that our enemy is going to be dashed before us, man. Our enemy is going to be delivered into our hand. And the scriptures speak about washing our feet in the blood of the wicked. What do you think?
What does that mean?
What that mean? What do you think that means, man? And so they want us to hide away from that aspect of the scriptures and that aspect of our faith, and come out here like we're Barney Rubble, and or we're Fred Flintstone, or we're what's his name, the purple dinosaur Don,
Barney,
and want us to just be preaching love to everybody. That's not the case, man. The scriptures is balanced, and righteousness is balanced. There's a nice side to righteousness, but there's also a spooky not nice, I should say, side to it, man. And you see that in the scriptures, man. Look at David. David had much blood on his hands in righteousness. They said Saul killed his thousands, and David killed his tens of thousands. David did that in righteousness against the enemy, against the Philistines. Yep. And they were rejoicing, and the women were dancing and rejoicing over it too. And there wasn't nothing wrong with that.
The Lord doesn't have a problem with war in itself, right? Because there is things that are righteous and things that are unrighteous, man. And that's why Christianity have always conducted unrighteous wars. Because none of it was about the scriptures. There's a power grab. There's all power and wealth, right? But the Lord himself says he's a man of war.
Well, a thief don't kill in righteousness, man.
That's right.
A thief kills for their own gain.
But when we go to war now, when Yahushua returns with the angels, man, we're gonna wage a war. Just like Yahushua, he coming in righteousness, he doth make war.
I was just gonna get it for you.
Right? He's gonna do that in righteousness, the same way we're gonna be doing it in righteousness. When the Lord turns up, we're gonna wage war against our enemies.
What does that mean?
You know? And people are gonna be destroyed.
Let me get Revelations 19 and 13. It says, and he was clothed with vesture dipped in blood, and his name. You know what? Let me read up because I saw the bit about. Yeah. I'm jumping the gun. Let me read from 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship God, for the testimony of Yahushua is a spirit of prophecy. And guess what? In the prophecies down speak of great, terrible acts which are going to be committed against Esau, Edom, and the other nations by the hands of the Israelites in righteousness. Right? We could go into all the scriptures. But you see, Vocab Malone, he don't like to deal with prophecy, and he don't want us to be in that spirit. He doesn't want us to be in that mindset, to look at him as he is. He wants us to be, he wants us to be in that passive mindset. He don't mind if we look at each other as enemies, but if we're looking at him like a serpent, looking at him like food, looking at him like a hawk. You ever seen a hawk? A hawk don't look at prey like, you know, don't play. A hawk looks serious, man. Go on YouTube and look at the nature of a hawk, even its face and its countenance. That Esau don't want that. Esau want Jake to be a buffoon when it comes to him. They want Jake to be laughing and joking and begging him for like a bitch, you know, begging. It's like a woman does. A woman wanna beg your attention. She wanna get your. When a woman like a man, she will do anything to receive that man's attention and validation. She'll do whatever it takes. That's what Esau wants us to be like with him. Or I really just want Esau to like me. I really just want, you know, so I'm gonna lower my voice. I'm gonna change my ideology. I'm gonna forgive him. You know, oh, it's okay, Esau. Nah, man.
Just say, why trimmest thou way to seek love? We ain't meant to be doing that. We're meant to be seeking the Lord's love. But we're out here trying to appease these different nations, man. Corrupting ourselves in the process. You know?
Have a firm resolve, man, and we're fully resolved onto the vengeance that the Lord is going to deliver onto us, man. You got to be fully resolved onto that vengeance, man. That justice. We're resolved onto seeking justice. We ain't going to turn from that justice, man. That's what they want us to do. Oh, just forget about slavery, forget about everything, and just be an African American or a West Indian and be happy to be part of the body of Christ. To hell with that, man. We ain't trying to be a part of the body of Christ. The body of Yahushua, which is a whole different thing, a whole different mentality, a whole different setup, man. And that puts us in the right perspective that, yeah, we love our brother. Yeah? We love who we're supposed to love, but not more important, but as importantly, we hate what and who we're supposed to hate. Because hate and love is neither good or evil. It's based upon perspective.
Psalm Day said that I hate them with perfect hatred.
Right.
So it's not unrighteous.
It's not unrighteous to hate. And that's another thing they try. That's why, hate speech. Hate. No, man. You can hate in righteousness and you can hate in wickedness. You can love in righteousness and you can love in wickedness. If you love Esau, Edom, then you're wicked. Because Esau, Edom is not to be loved. He wasn't made to be loved. The Most High himself don't love him.
He's a vessel to dishonor, man. Can't love that.
Alright? If you love Esau, Edom, and all this wickedness, then you're evil. That's why the LGBT, they try and use love as like a plaster. Oh, it's love. Nah, it ain't love, man. Two men in the bed. Well, you could say it's love, but that love is going to be the object of our hate. Because it should be. Because a man ain't supposed to love a man like that. Or a woman ain't supposed to love a woman like that. And now
Shalom, brother. Yeah, what's up?
They want to cast us out as being evil. We're evil to the world because we don't like, we hate, because we hate LGBT, we hate feminism, we hate all forms of wickedness that they promote. They'll say we're evil because we hate that, but it's okay for them to hate us. So really they're hypocrites, because at the end of the day, there ain't nobody on this earth that loves everything. Everyone has a line that they draw between love and hate. It's true. Everyone has a line that they draw between love and hate. It's just whether your perspective or whether the love or the hate that you have is right or wrong in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's the separate.
But that was what I was going to say, man. Because what we speak about is not our perspective. It's me, the will, and the word of the Heavenly Father, man. What his perspective is on things.
And that's morality. That's true morality. To hate the evil and love the good. And that's in the Bible. But they love the evil and hate the good. What's that all about?
It's Isaiah 5 and 18. It's like it. Verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
So here it is now. Esau, Edom has totally violated our people on every level, physically, spiritually, and mentally, man. They've destroyed and subverted our people. Not just physical wounds, spiritual wounds, mental wounds, right? The Bible talks about woe unto him that giveth unto his neighbor strong drink. You look at the ideologies that our people have absorbed onto themselves, right? That Esau proliferates amongst our people using his agents, like using the media and the priests and all that kind of stuff. Highly destructive onto our people. Extremely destructive, right? And we're supposed to just ignore that and say, thank you, sir, may I have some more? No. If we're in our right to hate the enemy, we're in our right to desire revenge.
That's what he's done to us.
But here it is, Esau, when he makes a movie, he don't mind making a movie where The Rock, the Dwayne Johnson, someone murders his family, and the whole film is all about him going and destroying those people in the most brutal fashion, and you're meant to be clapping, and he's the hero in the film. But it's like that dynamic doesn't translate to us. We're never allowed to be the one that seeks, that gets to be the hero. We're not allowed heroes. We're not allowed to be the hero. We're not allowed to receive justice. We just gotta be passive and bow down to this man.
Yeah, we can't even speak.
Can't even speak it. Otherwise, he's gonna clip it and say, oh, look at these Hebrew Israelites. They're wicked and they're evil and they're dangerous.
Even these superstars, man, they can't speak. They can't speak their mind. They can't speak how they feel. They're not allowed to, otherwise they get shut down. It's right for Esau to bring these types of things in now, man, because Esau got everything already, man. He already done his fucking criminal acts, man.
And he's still doing it.
He's still doing it, man.
Because Esau right now, he would justify killing Putin, wouldn't he?
He would.
And where would Volcab Malone be? Nowhere to be found. Volcab wouldn't say, oh, well, Putin, he was a Christian and he
killed thousands. Yeah, but so was Esau. Well, he is Esau,
but that's what I'm saying. It's like it only applies when it comes to the Hebrew Israelites. We're the only ones that they try and hold to this standard, man.
Fuck this standard, man.
And they want to make us ashamed. And a lot of you Israelites, you're ashamed, man. You're ashamed to stand up, especially you men, to stand up like a man and say, nah, man, you are the enemy. I don't want you to be my friend. I don't want you to like me because I don't like you. That's called being a man. A man doesn't need to seek the approval of his enemy. A man doesn't need to make friendship with the devil, man. Sometimes a man draws the blood clot line and says, yo, you for dead. Simple as that. Trying to make it no other way. And our forefathers was in that spirit too. David was in that spirit. He drew the line. Look, you the enemy. Line them guys up and chop their heads off. We ain't having no discussion about it. I don't care if they don't like me. That's a bitch mentality, man. But that's what they want Jake to be. And that's why you see Jake all over social media. Even these revolutionary Jakes, they're revolutionary because really deep down inside, they want the so-called white man to love them. But I'm here to tell you that us the Hebrew Israelites, we don't value the love of Esau, Edom in any way. Hate us, because whether you love us or hate us, we're still gonna hate you forever. Never ending. Let me finish this and then.
Can I finish this first?
Okay.
It's Isaiah 5:21 says, "Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes, and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink." This is not what I thought. Where is it? Where is it? No, I thought there was more.
What are you looking for?
No, I just thought there was more to that.
Oh no, that was it. That was it. Can I finish this then?
Yeah, yeah, go on.
Alright, Revelations 19, verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness, the key is righteousness, he doth judge and make war. Because you could, like the brother was saying earlier, you can make war in righteousness. Like if another nation transgress against you, and you go and you apply the sword, you ain't in the wrong for that. When man go and put something down, you ain't in the wrong for that. The avenger of blood. And there's plenty of instances. Remember when them Ammonites rolled up on Benjamin, and they slaughtered the village of the Benjamites, and they sent out the call for the war dogs. And listen, that's in the scriptures, man. When them Ammonites violated Benjamin, Benjamin sent out the horsemen to call for the war dogs, man. Because all the villages had war dogs. There ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just that right now we're destroyed, so we don't do things the right way. Even now you got them smoky guys that's always ready to ride.
We don't do the way we would have done if we were sovereign.
If we were sovereign and in order.
Yeah, which we're not, right?
But the way our societies was set up, man, you always got a select group of men in a village that are war dogs. Them man are known, yeah, them are the smoke man. If there's smoke, we send them man first, because that's what they're on. You're always gonna have that. You got man that's just a farmer, man that ain't really about that war. That's what they said about Solomon. They said Solomon wasn't really a war dog. His brother was a war dog. Yeah, David was a war dog, man, and he had a bunch of war dogs with him at all times. When you read in the scriptures, and guess what? They sent for the war dogs. And when they sent for the war dogs, you think they were thinking, oh, you know, them Ammonites, they just killed a bunch of our people. When they heard the report, you think they were like, oh, you know what? It's cool. It's alright, man. Love thy neighbor. Nah, them man are, listen, like, when we catch up to these guys, them man are gonna feel, they're gonna get chopped up. Executions are gonna go down. And them man are gonna be bawling and begging, because everybody does. It's natural. Man's are always sorry, innit, when it's their turn, innit? Oh, start bawling. Man, I don't want to hear all that bawling, because you weren't bawling when you were chopping up our people.
In fact, the Lord is waiting for it, you know, because he said you're gonna lament. He said you're gonna be weeping the national teeth, man.
They have lamentations.
The Lord is waiting for that.
They sent and they came through and they dealt with them Ammonites. Was they in the wrong? No, that was a righteous warfare. So you could do warfare in righteousness, or you could do warfare where it's like, oh, them people got some land over there and we just want to take that land.
i.e. America.
So we're going to send the war dogs over there to take that land, or to steal that land. That's not a war in righteousness. Yeah. That's war in wickedness.
Britain, Spain, all of you, man, all you nations, you do that exact thing.
And then try to make up some reason to justify it. Lying, oh yeah. Many times they lied and said the natives did this, or they done this, done that. And then so they could justify it when it weren't even true. They attacked natives that were at peace with them. The devils, man.
The Puritans, the Christian Puritans.
Well, Caballonis, you're so bothered about dangerous people and violence. Why are you not protesting the American military and all the nuclear weapons they have, and the weapons of mass destruction that they develop? Why you not got a problem with all the weapons industry, you know, in America that's pumping out all these bullets, man? No, but we're a threat.
Hey, here it is, right? This is mad, right? prisons, yeah, mostly fill up with Christians.
Yeah.
Right. And Christianity is so bad, they got to teach man Islam. Right, that's how bad it is apparently, you know, because this I mean, the mentality of these Christians is very hypocritical, man. Because everything they've done on the earth, they've shaped how the world has been for the last fucking, I don't fucking know, man. Like, and they've been including the slave trade and everything, man. Two world wars, like these are Christians.
But we come out with the Bible and said you have to pay, and we're evil and we're dangerous and we're a threat to. Come on,
there's
man.
fucking pedophiles and all kinds of things. Like, you know
you
what I'm
don't
saying?
care about that.
The Vatican, you know what I'm saying? All of that's going on under the guise of Christianity, because Christianity is fucking full of shit.
And we don't have to hide it. And that's the thing, we're not hypocrites. We're breaking it down to you and saying, yeah, we hate you. We hate all you Edomites. We hate your children. Right? If your newborn Edomite is born, he automatically goes onto the hate list. Like, straight away.
Hey, they're born to a curse.
The certificate, the birth certificate, just stamp that, hated by us. And that's just how it's going to have to be. It's not going to be no other way. We're not going to lie and try and pretend that it's something different. Unlike you devils. You hide and you pretend, and you hide and you lie and you scheme. Oh yeah, man. Well, let me finish this. It says, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses.
So it's lucky, you know, because the Most High is a man of war, right? So his son's a general, man.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Clothed in fine linen, white and clean, right? And we're also part of his army. All Israelite men are part of the army. That's why when we was marching out of Egypt, it described us as marching in our armies. That's why Yahweh said, I have chosen you to be a soldier. Because the Israelite man is a soldier in the army of the Lord, the camp of the Lord. Now, right now, we're on, just because we're a soldier, don't mean we're gonna pick up HK and run around here shooting people. Because even a soldier is on the discipline. There's a time when you got to stand down, and there's a time when you got to fight. Right now, the fight we're meant to be doing is a spiritual fight. The Lord hasn't given us the commandment to go out here and go buck wild. But the day will come in the future, according to prophecy, where the Lord is going to give that command.
Yeah, to eliminate enemy combatants, man.
To subdue the enemy in righteousness. Becky and all of that, man. And Becky going to be screaming. Becky going to be begging. Becky going to be talking about how she got black friends. And no one ain't going to care. We're going to have no compassion on you devils, man. We don't care about if you worked in a soup kitchen feeding Issacharites, man. You're gonna get bust up, man. Just be prepared for that.
Because Esau don't have no repentance. There's not any act he could do to absolve himself from the judgment that's coming to him, man. Not any act. No matter how righteous it was, right? You're marked. It seems to go from marked for death.
Yeah, man.
That's it. That's what's
hey,
happening.
We're going in that Screwface spirit. Screwface is in that spirit, man. So all kill him, the white boy Acha. Screwface got so vexed, he licked the man that told him. We want him dead. We want him famine.
Yeah.
Yo, he wanted everybody dead, man. Hey, that's the spirit we're under, man. Screwface knew what time it was, man. He was looking for that Edomite, man. Steven Seagal, man. Hey, he's a legend, man. Anyway, he says, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and the wrath of the Almighty God.
And the men of the Lord are also going to have that same privilege to rule with that rod of iron, which means they're going to be putting pain on these nations, man. So when the men of the Lord get hold of the other nations, they're not going to treat them nice. So what's the problem with the message we're giving here? Because that's exactly what's going to go down. When the Lord turns up in all his glory and he gives power to his men, right? And they start smashing up nations, smashing up people. you know, men, women, and children, putting you in chains. You know, as is the patience of the saints. We're waiting upon that, man. That message is coincides with what's written in the scriptures, man. It ain't something we're just making up. You know what I'm saying? It's written here in the scriptures, man. And it's part of prophecy here in Revelation.
No, but vocabulary like my say, you know, them guys are talking about that's not in the scriptures. Oh, but it is. But it is. And all our righteous, listen, when them, listen, you gotta listen, read the scriptures properly, man. When them man kidnapped Lot, yeah, when the ops, yeah, kidnapped Lot, Abraham heard about it, yeah. He weren't doing up yoga. Abraham weren't doing up yoga. He didn't go into a lotus position and started praying for them. Oh yeah. Man had his trained men. What did he train them to do? To kill.
And Abraham's like the father of faith.
He's the father of faith. And Abraham went after. Can we get that account? Can we get that account, please? Our forefather Abraham, when Lot was kidnapped by those enemies, yeah, he went after them, man, with his man them, and I'm sure it wasn't nice. Nothing nice happened after that. And the Lord never said, oh, Abraham, you was wrong for that.
Well, it's not Lord. He that stealeth a man, he put to death.
It's righteousness.
So Abraham wasn't doing that wrong. He was within his right to do that.
Yep.
Because the Lord has given him the right to do that. And what's happened to us as a people? We've been stolen, we've been abused, been exploited, right?
Revenge is part of it. You see, what they've done is, yeah, they took certain scriptures and misapplied them. So it's like, oh, the Bible does say, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. We're not going to say it, don't say that. The vengeance does belong unto the Lord. But what does that mean? Does that mean that vengeance is not applicable? Because if that's the case, then why do you Edomites have a so-called justice system? Why do you have a justice system? If vengeance belongs to the Lord, and that's how you interpret it in meaning that there's no form of vengeance that a man can take on earth because it all belongs to the Lord.
Why you got judges?
Then why did you have a death penalty? Well, you watch them old westerns, you have a US Marshal and he'd be hunting down Billy the Kid. And if they catch Billy the Kid, what do? They hanged him. The gallows. Yep. What was that all about? Why do you even put people in prison now?
You should just wait for God's judgment, right?
Yeah, it's just, vengeance is mine, I'm just gonna just chill. When you went over there into Iraq, what happened to vengeance is mine, saith the Lord?
Did you wait upon the Lord then? No, you
no.
didn't.
What it means is that you got to take vengeance according to the measure that the Lord provides. So it's not our place right now to take vengeance because we're under punishment. The Lord has reserved that vengeance for a time to come. So we have to be spiritual and be patient and wait for that time.
This is why prophecy is important. Understanding prophecy is important, man, because we know we can't work against the prophecies. Right? So even though you might feel a particular way, we know that right now is not the time to do any of that. But otherwise you end up fighting against the Lord, because the Lord's got a certain way he wants to do things.
That's the patience, and that's also the discipline. But that doesn't mean desiring that vengeance is evil in itself, or taking that vengeance is evil in itself. Because all the way through the scriptures, our forefathers took vengeance, but the Lord was with it. There's many scriptures where our people took vengeance upon the other nations. And there's not one scripture where the Lord said, oh, you shouldn't have done that.
This is the book of Genesis 14, and I start from 8. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of the Goyim, and the king of Bera, the same is Zoe, and they joined battle with them in the valley of Siddim, with Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amlapher, king of Shinar.
Right, because back then, a lot of people operated according to city-states. So you'd have the Sodom and Gomorrah, and those were city-states, and the city would actually have their own king and operate like that. It's called a city-state, just like Rome was a city-state, Babylon was a city-state, what's that Greek one? Most of the Greek were city-states too. Athens, yeah, they were city-states. Sparta, yeah, they were city-state. What's that one with Hector?
No, that was
Troy was another city-state. So it's not always that people operated like now, like an entire nation operating together with multiple cities all as one. There was times where you'd have cities and all the cities would be independent of each other, man. They weren't in the farmer harder, yeah? Unless one city conquered the other cities, then they come under one.
Well, that's why they make such a big deal out of these conquerors, like Alexander, because he brought them together. You know, all these so-called great leaders or whatever, they brought nations together, man. You know, Pharaoh at one time brought all Egypt together because they were all different groups at one time. And that's why they elevate these certain guys that were able to have the whole world, so to say, you know?
Yeah, so Sodom had their own king and Gomorrah had their own king and so forth, and these kings took battle. Go on. And in this war, somebody was in the wrong. It's always the case. Somebody's always in the wrong. Someone is transgression, someone is violating. You know, that's just how it is.
Someone's unjustified. Someone is justified.
Yeah, the bad guy. Go on.
And Arioch, king of Elasa, four kings with five. And the valley of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the king of Sodom.
Slime pits, because that was down in that region of Iraq. And slime is tar. So it's the same geography, man, as today. Bitumen. You know, in places that you got oil, but crude oil, bitumen or tar is part of that. So you get actual tar pits where there's almost pressure, the oil is under, that the tar comes up and it forms a pool on the surface. So that was happening back then, there today. So it's the same region of land, which is Iraq and all them places, Iran. You know, you got a lot of oil around there. Go on.
And the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed.
Big mistake. So they kidnapped Lot, because Lot was dwelling in Sodom. When they conquered Sodom, they kidnapped Lot, which is a big mistake. Because guess what, man? That was Abraham's nephew. And Abraham wasn't playing no games. And back then, there weren't no UN. Listen, Abraham wasn't calling up no UN. Abraham straight away went to get busy. Because Abraham was almost like a traveling king. You know, when you think about Abraham, you got to think about Abraham was truly a sovereign man, and he weren't rolling around the earth like a hobo. You know that man them that just rolling around with a little rucksack. You get me? And a couple cans of Campbell's soup in the rucksack, and they just moving from town to town. You know, grabbing a few bears here and there. No, he was like a nomad. He was nomadic in nature, and he traveled like a village. You know, he was an overseer.
Moving village, man.
That's why other kings respected him, because kings don't respect any and anyone. They respected him because he was like a king himself, a traveling kingdom. He had money. The Bible said that he was rich in the east with cattle and gold. Now, what you think? One man can just be rolling with that by himself?
Man had a server private military.
Private military, man.
You know?
Moving like Doom from Dr. Doom. Man had a private military of trained men. That's why the scripture says we don't come from slaves, man. Yeah. We come from free men. Right? And he was living good. Living royal. We don't come from no slaves, man. And you know what proves he's a sovereign man? Because when the man them violated, he didn't ask nobody, man. When you're a sovereign, if somebody violates, you ain't got to ask nobody. You ain't got to seek permission. Who you seeking permission from when you're a sovereign? The only permission you need is it righteous with Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? And that's how you know that we're not free. Because everything you Negroes do, you do it, you even need to seek permission, or you do it under the fear of penalty that you don't even really want to deal with. Because when the police come, you gotta run. You gotta hide.
Yep.
Yo, hope nobody don't find out. Oh, don't tell them them ones there, man, because you know you can't really do shit. If we were truly free, Esau would already be bust up. Because that's the first thing, listen, any real man, if you got sovereignty and freedom, the first thing you do is you settle them scores. Tell me I'm lying.
Well, think of this, right? When the slaves were free, the only reason why nothing went down is because the white man so-called freed you, right? Because he had the power to stop what was going on. If it wasn't for that reason, Jake would have busted every slave plantation owner getting away.
Yeah, you weren't sovereign. The first thing,
You know?
listen, if you got freedom, like, the first thing you're doing, yeah, is settling scores. That's the first thing. Once the power,
If you're not in
the
fear.
sovereignty, that's it, man. Anyone that violate you, they're fucking dead. That's my man from Paid in Full, innit? Anyone that ever owed me money, looked at me wrong, fucking dead. That's it. So that's how you know that we're not free, because we have to ask Esau for everything. Ask Esau for permission. Ask Esau. Listen, Abraham didn't ask nobody for nothing. He heard what happened, and it was all systems go.
Made a decision. That was it.
Go on, up.
Committed.
Because he was a sovereign man.
So Genesis 14 and 13. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite brother of Eshcol, and the brother of Anna, and these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants.
Hold on. And this is Abraham, a righteous man. A righteous man, a real man. A real man, but balanced man, a righteous man. See, according to Christianity, right, the way they teach it to our people is a righteous man is basically, you have to be a pussy. You have to be a real soft guy that basically a pushover, and that's how you need to be at all times. Just get violated and it's all good. That's not necessarily true. There's an aspect of a man that's a lion and a lamb. Yahweh Shai had the aspect of a lamb, but you're gonna find out he also has the aspect of a lion. But they don't want you to even think about the lion nature. They don't want you to think about that, so you're in the wrong. No. They want you to be a pacifist at all times, or even in the mind. So you're not even allowed to think it. You just gotta be like a woman, man, just subdued, like a kept woman. That's how they want Jake to be. Unless we're murking each other off, then yeah, whatever, man. Just kill each other and get buck wild. But it says, when he heard it, man, he straight away, he tooled up the mandem. And there went nothing wrong with that.
Shows you man had money, man had the equipment for them.
Yeah, swords ain't cheap. In order to have swords, you
need
got
someone to make them.
You need to have someone to make them. You got to have blacksmith, and the blacksmith didn't work for cheap.
That's an intense work.
And that means he bought swords. So technically, there's nothing wrong with having weapons. There's nothing unrighteous with that. Now, there's a difference between unrighteousness and lack of wisdom. You ain't gonna see us running around out here with weapons, because that's not prudent. That's not wise to be doing that. But to have a weapon itself, ain't nobody ever said that is unrighteous. There's nothing unrighteous. How can it be unrighteous when David chopped off Goliath? What did he chop off his head with? His hand. Goliath's sword and head removal specialist. Yeah? So Abraham himself was bare arms, and that's part of being a sovereign too. No man can't tell a sovereign man whether he could have a weapon or whether he can't have a weapon. You think Abraham had a license for them swords? You think a man could come to Abraham and say, oh, Abraham, you need a license for them swords? His head would have been taken off with that sword. Are you going to come and tell a big man about... Come on.
What he kind of can't have.
Head removed straight away.
was taken captive. I mean, he harmed his trained servants.
So he had trained servants, military. He had men that he had that were trained in the art of it, removing heads and removing limbs and deflating a man's lungs. Yeah? Dehydrating their body of blood. He had men, they were trained. That's what they did. So there's nothing wrong with that either.
Because you had the means to.
You had the means.
It's different when you ain't got the means, you're weak. All you could do maybe is pray. You know what I'm saying? But Abraham had the means to go do something about
So
what
you're a
happened.
king. He had everything. You gotta have the means to defend yourself, man. You gotta have the means to defend yourself, man, as a man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Go on.
Born in his own house.
So these men, again, these guys were underneath him. They were servants. They were the children of his servants.
It started to sound like the League of Shadow.
I'm the League of
These are the
Shadows.
raising these houses, man, we're training them from youth.
Yeah, you train them up from young for the purpose. It's like the unsullied, man,
Yeah.
but without the lack of testicles. He's just a straight, you know, homo. You alright, brother? Yeah, these men were trained up from young in the ways of the sword. Servants born in his house. Was Abraham unrighteous because he had servants that were born in his house? No. Go on, man.
Born in his own house, 318.
So if he had 300 men, 318 men that were born in his house, that were trained for war, then how many women did he have that were born in his house, or other men that weren't trained for war that was working for him? So like I said, you gotta imagine that Abraham was like his own little kingdom that was just traveling.
Yeah.
But you see, when they explain Abraham to you in the churches, you think that it's just some random dusty looking brer with some dusty robe on. Even when in the movies, it'll be some dusty looking robe moving around, you know, grubby, with his wife and a couple. No, man, he was. You know, he had the best on, the most expensive robes, yeah, the most expensive robe, what they call it, rugs, inside of his tent, plush, clean, gold, silver, utensils, man. Then you got around him just encampments of people just working. Some men are keeping the cattle, some men are keeping the camels, some men are carpenters, maids. Underneath him, man. When it's time to pack up, they pack up everything and they head down the road, man. And he's got man there that's got the blades in case a guy try and get smart. Because
they've got things they need to protect.
Exactly.
You know?
So you gotta put your mind into it, man.
Because if Abraham was so bummy, right, why would he need all these trained assassins or
Rich,
whatever,
man.
If he ain't got much to protect? He wouldn't need all of that.
Abraham was a don. A real don, man.
Genesis 13:1, and Abraham went out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. And Abraham was very rich in cattle and silver and in gold.
They had so much cattle and stuff between them, man. That's why they had to part ways in the first place. There was too much in one place.
That's why we tell you Isaac came from money. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and so was Jacob. Right? That don't mean it don't work, because back in the ancient world, your son was as a servant until he received his inheritance. But right now, Jake nothing Jake hates more than another Jake that was born with something. They just hate it, man.
It's because they hate themselves, man.
Yeah. His dad's got money. Oh, he a rich, you know. Oh, he grew up. Jake hated Jake that his parents had anything. It's like a badge of honor to be poor. You just have to be born. That's bullshit, man. You're not supposed to be born without an inheritance. You're not supposed to be born poor. And being born poor don't make you better than a guy or tougher or anything better than a guy that's born and his dad had money, man. It just depends on how his dad raised him. If he was spoiled, then he's gonna be spoiled. But if his dad raised him properly, then he gonna be just as tough as you. Jacob wrestled an angel, man. You think he was soft? But he was a prince. He grew up with money. Even Esau grew up with money. You think they grew up broke? But because obviously we've been down bad for so long, man, we think that's what we are and that's what we come from. Nah, man. Our heritage is always been one of privilege, and it's gonna go back to being a heritage of privilege, man. Because that's how it should be. You're supposed to be born with all the silver spoons, a collection of silver spoons,
Different
man.
sizes, you know.
Jake tried to compete as to who had the worst. Oh yeah, well when I grew up, I didn't even have diapers. Like, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah, my mom had 7 jobs.
Okay.
It should have been like that. It should never have been like that.
Is that what we're fighting for now? Is that a badge of honor?
That's why he's our homeborn slave. We were not slaves. We're not poor. You know what I'm saying? We've been used to this condition. This is how we think. This is how we are. No, we were never like that from the beginning.
And then Jake just hate it, man. They just hate on a guy. Oh, you're only doing that because you're. Oh yeah, that's good.
That's how things are supposed
That's
to
how
work.
it's supposed to be. Nepotism.
Yeah.
Well, this is Proverbs 13 and 22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
So there's nothing wrong with that, man. So Abraham passed on his wealth to Isaac, and then Jacob grew up in that wealth, but then he had to duck out. He had to run, and then the Lord still blessed him with wealth.
Yeah. Came from the bottom with plenty of sheep, plenty of that to live off the land and that.
How you think they were able to go down into Egypt with gold and silver?
That man was still paying for bread and whatever, seed and that.
Back in Genesis 13 and 5, and Lot also, which went with Abraham, had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abraham's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle.
And man, what them herdmen? They were servants, slaves, if you want to put it that way. Ooh. There's nothing wrong with that. There's this man that's working for him, and they were attached to his house. Because you could have a hired servant, or you can have servants that they're in your house. They belong to you. When they have children, their children are also servants in your house. And that's how it's going to be in the kingdom too. We're going to have servants, and you like 10 generations down the line, your great-great-granddad was my slave, and you're my slave too. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I was going to say, there's nothing wrong with having slaves, man, because in ways, well, we're slaves to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? But this term slavery has been darkened by this whole transatlantic slave trade, which came with all this abuse, all this wickedness that came with it, right? And when we get you into captivity, that part's not really about the slavery, that's really about the judgment, that's about the punishment.
Yeah, it's more than slavery, it's punishment.
Yeah, you know, that's not really what it is, but that's what it's going to start out like, because that's what you need to gasp with. It needs to be brought down.
You need to put a man in slavery to properly punish them anyway. That's under your control, right?
Yep.
They call it hard time. You have to serve hard time.
But the slavery aspect is not a bad thing, you know? Because we will serve, right? Yep.
Yeah, was Abraham a bad person? So mean.
Leviticus 25 and 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids which thou shalt have shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall you buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of...
Right, you could go to, as an Israelite, right? You can go to a market, and another Israelite can sell you one of his slaves. You could do that. That's in the scriptures. So a man say, "Hey brother, I got two maidens. I could sell to you for a price." Yeah, I'll buy them. Now they belong to me. They can't ever leave. They can't leave because I own them. They're part of my house now, because your house could encompass, the house is like a business. So they're now my employees in my business now. And they're gonna work for me. And if they procreate, their children now work for me. And I choose what they do in their life. Like, I decide if they're gonna be a carpenter or whatever they're gonna do, because they're part of my function. And that's how we are in this society, man. Esau's the one providing the education, right? Deciding what you're doing. I'll pick and choose you, or I'll hire you for this, or I'll hire you for that. We're all here to serve his means, isn't it? His economy, his industries.
You know what that shows, man? It shows that we're meant to be gods on earth, man. Because it works the same way we have Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? They decide what we end up doing. If they decide we're going to be the righteous, and be the chosen. Because there's no free will. Everyone does the will of the Heavenly Father,
Everybody gotta
right?
serve somebody.
And so we were set up to make those types of decisions too. You're going to serve us. And there's no breaking that bond or whatever you want to call that, like contract or whatever. You know, you're going to do as we say. Just like everyone else does what the Most High says.
Right, if Abraham had a servant, which most of them wouldn't want to leave, because when you're part of something like that, of something glorious, you ain't gonna want to leave, man, because you got everything good in most times. Most times, if you're a servant in a great man's house, you don't want to leave because you got it good. It's just like these bogus ass people, when they get into a company and everything's nice, and they're getting the right benefits, they don't want to leave, they want to work for their boss, right?
Work to the retire. Or
They work to, yeah,
whatever, innit?
right? So more time, a lot of his servants, they wouldn't want to leave, man. They couldn't, but they wouldn't want to, because it's good to work for a great man, and that doesn't mean you're going to be abused either. Because they think this idea that just because you got slaves, that means you're going to abuse them. No, we're going to abuse you either, mate, right? Because like the brother said, it's a punishment. But you don't necessarily have to abuse your slaves, man. They're just people that work for you and are under your orders, man.
Yep.
And they're there to meet your requirements for your house, man. Whatever you need, like keeping the cattle or doing this or doing that. Labor to glorify your house, man.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll quickly finish it. It says in verse 45, moreover of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall you buy of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. And you shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession.
It's like, let me just say something as well, because slavery is also a help, right? Help a brother out, man. If a brother's down bad, you take him in under your servant, he becomes your servant, right? Because after a certain amount of time that you're releasing all that kind of stuff, man, you release them with whatever they accrued, kind of thing. Right, you sent them out with enough to you know, for them to be standing on their own 2 feet.
So what you're trying to say is that it's not fair then. And that's another thing, you have to grow up, man. Fucking grow up, man. You know, like my little daughter, man, that's her favorite fucking saying, man. I get pissed off. Oh, this ain't fair and that ain't fair. You know, why did this person get to do this and I don't? Because life ain't fucking fair. Everything doesn't have to be fair. Yeah, there's no equality, man. If you got an older brother, he could do something that you can't do. Well, guess what? Because they were born before you, and they could do it and you can't. That's just life. Yeah. So life ain't fair. So this ideology that okay, we're the chosen people. Yeah, because it ain't fair. I understand that. I get it. It's not fair that we are the chosen people and there are people who are not the chosen people. It's not fair for them. But life isn't fair. Is it fair that you got a gazelle and you got a lion, and now the gazelle's got to be mad? Getting his guts ripped out.
The gazelle's got to be the food for the lion. You
don't see the gazelle getting his fair chance, does he? The Lord didn't make the gazelle like the lion. The gazelle's fucked, man. You get me? Like, but that's life for you. It's not fair. So these other nations, right? We can have them as bond slaves and own them forever, but right? Another Israelite, we can't. And that's just how it is.
But why? Only because the Most High said so.
Simple.
It's our right to have other nations in slavery perpetually, you know, under servitude, right? But an Israelite brother now, you can't, right? They have to be released, and you have to be decent with them. You know, like I said, you have to send them out with enough to stand on their own 2 feet. You can't hold back. You know, you got a debt on the year Jubilee. You got to still lend that money or help that brother. Just because the year release, you mean you ain't gonna get your money back, or it don't mean you don't do it. Because there's rules and codes we have to
You could charge a heathen usury,
yep,
but you can't charge your brother usury.
That's right.
But again, this is where Esau's different. Esau would charge a man usury, but he'll charge a man like 80%, and like he's just a demon, man. Esau's just a greedy demon. Something wrong with that guy. But that's what happens when you put someone that shouldn't be in the power. They always abuse their power. You don't have to abuse your power. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that Abraham wasn't going around abusing his servants, because a real man of power doesn't feel the need to abuse people for no fucking reason. If a man's doing his job and he's doing it properly, they're gonna get rewarded for doing the job rightfully,
because they're productive members of his camp.
Yeah, you know, you'll be stupid to abuse people who are doing right by you, because all you're doing is you're gonna in the end reduce their productivity. If you have a servant and you treat that servant right, I like
Yeah,
that.
I know, yeah.
You treat them right, you motivate them to want to serve you even more, right? Because they're like, yeah, man, man's dealing with me good. Yeah?
Obviously, you've got a level of sternness about you, so they fear it enough. You know?
Yeah, that's it. If they've transgressed, then obviously you got to put down the proper discipline. But you're not just going to roll up, your servants are out there in the field reaping corn and you just bash them over the head for no reason. Like, but that's Esau. Esau is, you know, the asshole, man. That's why he going to get that. We're going to have to do that to him.
Yeah.
Well, it's the book of Isaiah 60 and this.
That's how you get rebellions.
And 9, I'm saying, read, sure the highest shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first to bring thy sons from
But they had a
far.
problem doing that.
Their silver, their gold with them,
Oh.
unto the name of the Lord thy power.
That's right. And the brother made a good point. How could you ever go sleep? And that's why Esau, during hardcore slavery, was in a constant state of fear. Because they knew the way they were treating the slaves was completely disproportionate, because they had always had that demonic nature in them. So they would abuse the slaves to the point where it's like, rah, like, if they ever, they'll just fuck me up. You know what I'm saying? And especially in Brazil, you read the accounts where guys just mutilate and just work slaves to death, because their mindset was, as long as a slave worked for a year, they made their money back. Like, so if he died, he died. So they had literally no regard for their servants. They were minimum. They gave them the minimum, right? And that's how Esau thinks. To this day, Esau's gonna give you the minimum, whatever he could get away with, man.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? He don't give a damn. As long as he makes that bottom line, as long as he makes that profit. Now, really, if you're a good master, you ain't gonna think like that. You're gonna think in terms of longevity. No. Why would you want a servant and you're thinking in terms of, well, as long as he works for me for a year, I'm gonna ride him out? Like, even an animal you ain't supposed to treat like that. Mm-hmm. And how much more is a man worth than an animal? You're supposed to have a certain care for your servants, man. Mm-hmm. You know? But Esau, he's just the asshole, man. And that's why the brother said, when we get him into captivity, it's not just going to be captivity. He's got to pay. He's got to go under punishment, man. Because he went too far, man.
Well, say, you know, the scripture speaks about Esau having that perpetual hatred for us. That's why he treated us the way that he did. Because you got to be a demon, man. Yeah. To just want to do that to somebody.
Oh, if you don't bring back enough gold, chop your hands off or chop your child's hands off. What?
You got to be a demon, man.
What's wrong with this
That's
guy?
why when we're doing it to you, it's not because we're just, I mean, yeah, we hate you, but there's a reason why we hate you. It's get back, it's vengeance, revenge, right? It's judgment, justice, all these terms, right? That's why these things are going to happen to you, man. If you hadn't done it and been as bad as you was, it would just be regular captivity, bro. You know what I mean? Servants, you know? But you have to go and set the fucking line, man. So that's what the Lord's got for you. Got great judgment against you, man.
Exodus 21 and 26. And if a man smite the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. And if he smite out his manservant's tooth or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let them go free for his tooth's sake. If an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, then the ox shall surely be stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be quit.
Yeah. So the point is like, even when it comes to having servants, man, that wasn't a license to act like a demon. Even when you see guys doing that, and Esau's the main one that does that with the animals, man. If you got animals, you're not supposed to abuse your animals, man. Or you got an oxen and you're just kicking the oxen all the time and whipping it and you're driving it down into the dirt, man. You know, trying to push for profits. So you're just working it into the ground, not taking care of it, not taking care of what it eats, not in care. A good farmer always takes care of the animals, man. You see them, man, get the vetting in there. Anything wrong with the animal, they get the vetting and treat the animal, man. But then you get these animals that just violate and disrespect, man. You're not really supposed to be like that, you know? That's why the scripture said when the righteous is in rulership, the people rejoice. Because ultimately, you know, things are going to be balanced. But for them first thousand years of captivity, it's going to be punishment. So they're going to have to be under terrors. 100%.
Yeah. The book of Proverbs 12 and 10. A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel.
That's right, man. Even when they think they're being merciful, they're being cruel. So if you're meant to, you know, Esau, man, treated us worse than beasts, man. Worse than animals, man. You're talking about, oh, if a man survived. So them conditions that they were in Brazil, were terrible, man. Terrible conditions, right? You working a man in it, okay, he's dying. He's literally dying from work after like a year and a half. The man's like, well, how long's he been alive? A year and a half. Okay, so I made enough profit off him that it's not even a problem.
Yeah, it's alright.
Bro, you Esau, man. Hey boy, you gonna get it. Have you still got Abraham? Yeah, let's finish that off and then we'll jump. Yeah, go on.
It's the book of Ecclesiasticus 41:7. The children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake.
Right, all that wickedness that Esau did to build up this kingdom, you are all gonna have to pay for that. All that pain, and it's spiritual. Everything you see Esau, man, he trying to quantify everything. But the Most High is the ultimate mathematician, and the Most High weighs everything in the balance. The Most High has already measured everything. Everything is measured with the Most High. You could be a little bit happy, you could be a lot happy. Everything the Most High does is in measure. That's what people don't realize. And justice is known as a scale of balance. So you, Esau, you got to pay for all the pain, all the anguish, all the suffering, all the tears. Those have all been accounted for. Every tear, the Lord has weighed those tears, man. Every drop of blood has been weighed, man. So then now the Lord has accounted and quantified it all. You got to balance all that and some. Because our tears are worth more than your tears. Now don't ask me why it's like that. It just is. That's what the Bible says. You're gonna scourge our enemies 1,000 times greater. Because our blood is worth more than your blood. So you got a lot coming to you, Esau, man.
You ain't just saying that, man. There's a scripture on that. You're not gonna find it.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's in I think it's in chapter 12 of Wisdom of Solomon, man. He scourges our enemies 1,000 times greater, man. Edomites are gonna have to pay. The half has never been told. The anguish and the pain that our people went through, mentally, physically, spiritually, and still going through to this day. To this day, right? That all has to be paid for. That all has to come back to you, man. It ain't been forgotten. It's been stored in the spiritual Google, and in the kingdom, we're gonna make sure that everyone pays accordingly. Like we were talking earlier about they giving that Jake 400-year sentences, man. But what do you think the Lord does? You think a guy like Cristobal Colon is gonna suffer for one lifetime? He gonna suffer for multiple lifetimes to pay off all the fuckery he done did. Lord, you Edomites, that's why when you catch hell and you get destroyed on this side, you still gotta come back on the other side because you still got more you got to pay for. It ain't over yet. You still got a lot more to pay for, man. That tab, it still needs to be paid up. So you're gonna have to come back again and come back again and come back again until your balance, your account becomes balanced, man. Because you're in arrears. And some Edomites, just like some heathens, are gonna get it worse than others. Like you got like you might have a heathen like Ruth. She gonna go into slavery, but she might not get it. Get it like another bitch that had a Jake like that. What's that bitch with the Emmett Till? I forgot her name, yeah, but she gonna get it, man. And is she still alive? She's dead.
Yeah, no, she's alive, up in age, like on the last legs.
Oh, right. So she gonna suffer in the kingdom of heaven. You think she gonna be a concubine just sitting there taking baths and waiting to take dick? Nah, she gonna be suffering. She gonna get fucked up, man. She gonna get what they call it, mastectomy or whatever. Mastectomy or what? She gonna suffer, man, because
Caroline Dunham, yeah.
What? So you see the same way Emmett Till got brutalized. Yeah. What do you think gonna happen to her? She gonna have to pay that back. Yeah. What do you think she's just gonna get? Give her a pretty dress and put her in a harem and have her just there chilling, getting 3 square meals after my man got murked up like that. Nah, man, she gonna be in a mine somewhere suffering, man. Getting brutalized, getting whipped. You know how many Jake got whipped off the back of Edomite women? How many Israelite women suffered off the back of... Come on, man. Everything has to come back. So whatever you put out there, God is not mocked. Whatsoever you sow, you're going to have to reap. Don't you think the Lord weighs that? So we don't have to worry about, oh, I didn't do nothing. No, whatever you did, you're going to have to make an account for, man. And it's going to be all in righteousness. No one's going to suffer for no reason. Because the Lord is righteous. Sitting there taking part in lynches and thinking the Lord didn't record that. You're going to have to pay for his pain. You're going to have to pay for the pain of his mother. You're going to have to pay for the pain of his father. You're going to have to pay for the pain of his sister, his brother. All the fear and the terror that his community felt has to come back on you. There's a lot to pay for.
The blood cannot be cleansed, but why the blood is shed?
Hey, you either might, and then you want to, wait, vocab, you're going to have to pay. You don't know what you did in all your past lives. Their brothers say you could be Haman, so you got a lot of payment. You got a lot to pay for, man. The disrespect you've shown to the men of the Lord. Every idle word that a man shall speak, and there's also everything you're thinking in your mind, because we know you're a calculated demon. You don't say everything that you're thinking in your mind out loud, but you have to pay for that too. Because the Most High, you see, Esau wants to be the thought police. The Most High is the ultimate thought police, man. Yeah, I heard that. Put that down.
Nothing is hidden.
Go on up.
Real quick. Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 22. Therefore, whereas thou dost chasten us, thou scourgest our enemies 1,000 times more, to the intent that when we judge, we should carefully think of thy goodness, and when we ourselves are judged, we should look for mercy.
That's right, man. So our enemies are going to get scourged 1,000 times more than we did, man. So they're going to really be suffering to establish that kingdom. But the point is that when we put them under that suffering, it's going to be righteous. The Lord isn't going to say, okay, well, you need to pay now. Because that's what one guy says. Well, if we put you in slavery and did these things onto you, and then you're going to do these things onto you, aren't we going to have to come back? Nah, it don't work like that, Rasta. It don't work like that, man. What are you doing? No. The balance, the scales of justice will be balanced. There ain't gonna be no comebacks to us. Just like with Abraham. Let's continue reading the story of Abraham. Where was the get back for what Abraham did? There weren't no get back. It was done. Yeah.
It's the book of Genesis 14 and the 15. I'm start 15 again. And when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan.
So he was chasing after them with murder, what you would call murderous intent. He weren't pursuing them to talk. He'd gone past that stage of talking. Yeah. Just like how in the time comes, we're going to pursue you Edomites in the earth, man, and round you up. Go on.
And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Obah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and he also brought
the spoils of war, righteously taken. But I think he returned. Didn't he return some of the other man them things? I'm sure he returned what belonged to the Sodomites and yeah. The man had to rate him because he was a real don, real hero. You should make a movie about that. That's a real hero. Get Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people.
And the women and the people. Yep.
And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter.
Or from the what?
Slaughter.
From the slaughter. Abraham was committed a slaughter. Now was he wrong? Is he condemned? Is he gonna go to hell? Nah, it was a righteous slaughter. And there's gonna be another righteous slaughter. So hold Isaiah 14. So you know what a slaughter is? They ain't nothing nice, man. That's the kind of thing you get taken down on the internet. You can't put that on YouTube. That don't sound like something that you could put on YouTube, because that'll get taken down. You can't put that on Facebook. You know what a slaughter is? Yeah, boy.
And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shiva.
It's like, you know what a slaughter is, Lord? It's one-sided. Just one-sided, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, lambs to the slaughter. Lamb ain't fighting. Lamb can't fight. You know, you nations are going to become lambs to the slaughter.
Yeah, just like you slaughtered our people, man.
We had no power in our hand.
Many slaughters you did against our people, man, and you have to pay for all that. I mean, we could read the accounts, but reading the accounts is not the same. All of our brothers of the tribe of Gad, you slaughtered, man. You slaughtered all the tribes, man. What you did in Mexico, what you did in Brazil. And you think that we're now going to turn around and just be cool with that and everything's blessed? No. We desire to see you get slaughtered now, so that we could have closure, so we could be comforted.
And of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the kings there, and Melchizedek, the king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High power.
So the priest blessed it, man. Now he didn't come and say, "Oh, Abraham, you was in the wrong. Why did you slaughter them, man?"
No, wicked man.
Man actually come, man. The priest of righteousness came and was like, "Yeah,
Man, rated him.
let me break bread, yeah, because you know, righteousness was done in the earth. The scales were balanced. The force, what's it called again? Yeah, the balance to the force. Right now, the force is all out of balance, man. Because you got the evil is prevailing in the earth.
Yep.
These dudes are pedophiles. These dudes are murdering babies, giving people poison injections, and then just laughing in the country club about it. They have to pay for that, man.
And he blessed him and said, "Blessed be Abraham the most."
He said what?
Blessed be Abraham of the Most High.
He blessed Abraham after he went and slaughtered him and his man them that he trained from youths, slaves. But you know, as slaves that he would train from babies. He gave them guys weapons, child soldiers. He gave them these weapons and said, "Yo, that man took my nephew. When we go through there, anything. Listen,
We showed you, man. They respected the man so much they were prepared to die for him, man.
had to." They went up in there. They dealt with them man away stuff. They dealt with them at night. They running these men down with purpose, no mercy, ill intent, man. Yeah, the most malicious techniques that they know, and they dealt with them guys, man. And afterward, the Most High blessed him. Now the Bible says the Most High is the same yesterday as he is today. Well, I think it applies to Yahweh Shai, but Yahweh Shai is the image of his Father, right? So he's the same yesterday as he is today as he's gonna be tomorrow.
No variableness.
There's no variableness.
In the Malachi, innit, the moon said that he's not there from the sun to not consumed.
Right.
So we're gonna be blessed as well.
That was still a righteous act to this day.
To this day.
It is a righteous
And it's going to
act.
be a righteous act when Yahweh Shai comes, because he's coming to play that same avenger of blood. Because basically, Abraham was playing the role of the avenger of blood. That's why it mentioned he took his brother. When you violate a man's brother, you have a right. Now, disclaimer. Let me just, before I even say that, because you know, man, I get simple. We're in this kingdom, innit? So, like I said, we can't go around. We're not sovereigns or nothing like that.
We're slaves.
But the point of the matter is if we were sovereign and we were in our own kingdom, a man has the right to get revenge for his brother. That's called the avenger of blood. It's actually in our law. Like when a man got executed here for violating, it would be a family member that would do it. And everybody's got that tap cousin. Hey, it's spiritual. Everyone's got that one cousin, yeah, that you know he would have been the guy. Because he don't mind, putting in work on people, man. You know everyone's got that one crazy cousin that he's a madman. You call him, he gonna sort something out, yeah? That one bad man cousin. That's how it was in the ancient world. If a man violated one of your, you know, you had the right to go and seek revenge on his behalf. If a man kidnapped, and you would actually be kind of obliged to do that. Oh, that's my brother, that's my cousin there. So Abraham was obliged. He's like, yo, that's my brother. They took my brother. I need to go deal with that. And he went and dealt with it in the most malicious way you could deal with it. And he came back, and the Most High, through his priest, blessed him for it. So we're going to be blessed, man. In the kingdom, the Lord's going to bless us too when we put our hands on these other nations, man. We're going to be blessed. Right? When we get our hand on man like vocab in the kingdom.
This is Joshua 11 and 16. So Joshua took all the land in the hills and all the south country and all the land of Goshen and the valley of the plain and the mount of Israel and the valley of the same. Verse 18, Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel save the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gibeon. All other they took in battle. For it was of the Lord to harden their hearts, that they should not come against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly, and that they might have no favor, but that he might destroy them as the Lord commanded Moses. And at that time at that time came Joshua and cut off the Anakims from the mountains, from Hebron, from the Bear, from Anab, from all the mountains of Judah and all the mountains of Israel. Joshua destroyed them utterly with their cities. There was none left of the Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel. Only in Gaza, in Gath, and in Ashdod there remained.
Unless they ran, they were dead. This is what's in the scriptures. So the scriptures contain what the apostles call the nastiness, man. But that's nasty. It's nasty when people got to get bled out on the floor and you're all slipping in it, man. It's nasty, of course it is, man. But that's a part of the scriptures too. So for you to think that now you got to the New Testament, that aspect isn't there. Oh, give me the scripture. Bring him hither before me. And come on, man. Them days ain't over. Yeah, go on.
This is the book of Joshua 10 and 24. And it came to pass when they brought out those kings unto Joshua, and Joshua called for all the men of Israel, and said unto the captain of the men of war which went with him, come near, put your feet upon the necks of these kings. And they came near and put their feet upon the necks of them.
Now, if that happened today, this would be a human rights violation. They had, according to the Geneva Convention, you're supposed to treat enemy combatants with respect.
Yeah.
That man put them dudes on the floor, the kings, and put dusty sandal on their necks, man, to symbolize your. When a man's got his foot on your neck here, something's gone completely wrong. You know when a man's got his, something's gone completely wrong. Because there should be no situation. I'm sorry, brother, I'm sorry, brother, but this. I don't care who it is, man. There should be no situation where a man's got his foot on your neck, yeah? Something's gone wrong there. You all the way, you're down bad. I don't know any man, except some freaky Edomite, because them Edomites are not right in the head. Have a man put his foot all up on your neck, all near your, man size 12s, with toe, you know what I mean? Come on, man. Go on.
And Joshua said unto them, fear not, nor be dismayed, be strong and of good courage, for thus shall the Lord do to all your enemies against whom ye fight. And afterward Joshua...
So that includes Esau, man.
Yeah.
Esau going to be put under our feet.
Yeah.
No? You're going to be put in a extremely vulnerable situation, man.
Oh yeah, it's vulnerable.
Yeah.
When your man's got...
You're at complete mercy at this point.
Oh man.
Because right now a man can stomp your head if he wants to. It shows you've been debased. You're under me. You're under my foot. I have power over you. That's what it represents.
Yep.
And that's exactly how it's going to be. Because Israel are going to return to the top. Yahweh Shai.
Beginning with their kings, man. the men of stature in this kingdom, they're all going to be beneath our feet, begging man for respect, begging, putting up supplications, man. And they will lose composure, because these men are pussios. They're going to be crying. These same men that ain't got no problem drinking baby blood, going to be all there crying. It's always the case, isn't it? Losing composure.
And afterward Joshua smote them and slew them and hanged them on 5 trees, and they were hanging upon the trees until the evening.
Yeah, because you could hang a man up until the evening and you take him down, man. Right? Joshua just straight slew them Hamites, man.
It's from Hebrews 10 and verse 12. It says, but this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of God. And he's talking about Yahushua, right? From henceforth, expecting to his enemies be made his footstool, right? And it's something that we all inherit as Israelites with Yahushua. Our enemies, which is the same as the Lord's enemies, which is the same as the Heavenly Father's enemies, right, are going to be put underneath us, man. And we're going to rest our foot upon them. Which means they're going to be underneath us, man. We're going to claim our rightful position on the earth, pursuant to Deuteronomy 7 verse 6, to be above all nations.
Yep.
If we're above, that means you're below.
And when you
on
got
the foot.
when you got a footstool as well, that means you're sitting in rest.
Yeah, you're resting. Yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean? Because you got a footstool,
you're sitting comfortable.
You're rest, and then you put your foot on that, man. Yeah, man.
And our foot is going to rest upon the heathen, man. Right? We're going to be made comfortable off the heathen. Because the forces of the Gentiles are going to be brought onto us, man. You're going to be in servitude.
And we're not going to be in no fear, man. No fear of repercussions or reprisals from you. There's not going to be none of that fear. We're going to be liberated, and we're going to do with you Edomites and you other nations according to the intents of our heart, man. We're going to be able to fulfill that hatred that we have been festering for hundreds of years, man. No longer are we going to be taking it out on each other. Jake, take it out on each other, man, in the most brutal fashion that you could think of. Yeah. Well, all that brutality is going to be turned upon you other nations, man.
Yeah, because we're going to be at peace with one another.
Yeah, man. We ain't going to brutalize each other no more, because Jake hella brutal, man. When it comes to our people, right, even right now, Jake chopping each other's heads off, macheting each other to death. All kind of madness is going on, man. Multiple. Yeah, but that's all going to be turned on Esau and righteousness, man. And the little bastard kids, man.
Isaiah 14 and 21. Prepares slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the walled city.
That's right, man. They don't want to deal with that. They like the idea that they could get away scot-free, but it doesn't work like that. We didn't get away scot-free. We had to pay for the iniquities of our forefathers, man. So now they're going to have to face the same judgment. Now all of a sudden it's, no, it's not the case, and this and that, but we did. What did we do? When you got a child that's growing up in captivity, what did they do? They didn't free the children when they were born into captivity and these things. They carried on. They just carried on with the pain and the anguish. So now the same thing's gonna happen, and we're in that time of that transition now. We're in the time of that transition. And they're gonna have to bow down to the judgment, and there's gonna be the same way there was no might in our hand, there's gonna be no might in their hand, and that's the way of the world. When it's your time to go down, you can't avoid it. You just have to suffer it, you have to accept it. Like when you see them nature programs, and when the predator gets hold of the prey, there comes a point where there's nothing the prey can do. And the Lord said, you're going to become a prey to us. Then there's nothing you're going to do. Like when a lion gets the man and he just locks onto that neck, they know they through. They know they through, they over. Just going to get devoured. And it tells you that in the scriptures. You go and devour them. All they that devour thee shall be devoured.
Psalms 137 and 7. Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem. You said, race it even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
Right, the Edomites are going to be rewarded. Now, if you Edomites ain't done nothing wrong, then you shouldn't have nothing to worry about. Because our doctrine is you're going to be rewarded according to what you did to us. So if it's the case that you're just so lovable and you're loving and you just did nothing but good, then you shouldn't have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, you just got it wrong, man.
But the fact of the matter is, you know that you done great evil unto our people from the very beginning. Even your forefather Esau tried to kill our forefather Jacob, man. Off the bat of what?
Hey, according to your own document, you should all be burning in hell.
And you will. Yeah, you Edomites are gonna get it bad, man. You Edomites are, and it already is beginning. Your kingdom's already falling apart. Look at over there in France right now. Them dudes are protesting because of the pensions. I've got news for you. There is no pensions. The whole idea of a pension is a Ponzi scheme predicated on the stock market increasing by 10% every year, and these guys over leverage. The money really ain't there. There is no pensions, man. This whole thing's been a con. It's been a fraud that's been perpetrated.
When it crashes, you're gonna find out.
And then you're gonna find out that it's not really there, man. The whole financial system is a fraud, it's a lie. Unjust weights and balances, man. We were talking about the other day about the whole pensions. How is it possible? No, man. That's all gone. They've already fleeced all that. It's gonna disappear. And so right now in France, they're protesting, and it's only gonna get worse. Cost of living is only gonna get higher. All of these banks, you're gonna find out that they're over leveraged. They're gonna start collapsing one by one. It's the downfall of this society, and it's already happening. Yeah. You've already had as good as it's gonna get for you, and that's beginning from the elites all the way down to the average Joe that's on the street. Every Edomite, you really had it as good as it's gonna get already. Now you're on your downward spiral. Yeah, go on, man.
It's Jeremiah 25 verse 15. It says, "For thus saith the Lord God of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. And they shall drink and be moved and be mad." Right? And this is why you get upset when we tell you about this cup, this fury that the Lord is going to lay upon you, man, because of for the crimes that you've done. Right? You're upset. You don't want to bear it. You want to think that the Lord's going to let it slide, or the Lord's going to have mercy or something, or whatever, man. That's not how it's going to work, right? So then I took the cup at the Lord's hand and made all the nations to drink unto whom the Lord has sent me, to which Jerusalem and the cities of Judah and the kings thereof and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation, right? Because it happened unto us.
Yeah, man. The Lord set it up with the Babylonians, and they were just on a rampage.
Yeah.
And they even took our people down, and we had to swallow that.
Yeah, we couldn't refuse it.
We tried to buck up against it.
No.
They even put Jeremiah in prison.
Yeah.
They tried to buck up. They tried to think that their pride could prevent the apocalypse, the revealing. But they couldn't prevent it, man. It surely happened. And the same thing's gonna happen here again.
That's why it don't matter if you kill us, it don't matter if you imprison us, it ain't gonna stop what's coming.
All the witchcraft that these elites, they think that their witchcraft is gonna prolong their kingdom. It's not gonna prolong anything, man. It's not gonna prolong. You can't add 1 minute onto your kingdom. This is it.
This is and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation and an astonishment and a hissing and a curse, as it is this day. Pharaoh king of Egypt and his servants and his princes and all his people, and all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon and Azar and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon, all the kings of Tyrus, all the kings of Zidon, all the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea, the Dan and Timah and Buz, all that are in the utmost corners, and all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert, and all the kings of Zimri, and all the Medes of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes, and all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world which are on the face of the earth, and the king of Shishak shall drink after them. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I send among you. And if it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, ye shall certainly drink.
And that cup is going to be handed out again, because Yahweh Shai is coming to just conquer all these, as we read before, to break down all these nations. They're going to drink every single night. There's not one nation on this earth that's not going to drink of this cup.
That's right.
They're going to be utterly broken, beginning with Esau. And he's moving like he can't drink of that cup.
Yeah.
He's going on like he got contingency plans, and that these people really think their kingdom's going to go on forever. Even though, if you actually look at it, it's over.
Been done.
It's been done, man. All this wicked. See, the thing is about wickedness, man. It can't be sustained. Wickedness cannot be sustained, man. Lies cannot be sustained. Cheating and robbery. In the end, it's like poison. It's toxic. It just breaks everything down. Even if you pretend. See, this kingdom's supposed to have checks and balances. You're gonna find out there were no checks and balances. It was all a con game, and that's why it's all falling apart on itself.
Yep.
You look at the madness these dudes are promoting, man. Non-binary, and I've got to sit there in a training class. The guy's trying to tell me that I can't say ladies and gentlemen. It's all fuckery, like. What's this all about, man? This place is finished, man. It's already done.
And that's what I mean. It's that moment, just like, you know, before the flood, where the earth corrupted itself, man. It's that moment that the judgment's coming through, man. But this place is so out of whack. Just as it was back then, it was out of whack. And the correction needs to happen. You know, like the market's correcting itself, but this earth needs to correct itself, man. And the Lord is
sick of dying, sick, dying, mentally deranged, self-destructive behavior is at an all-time high. Everybody's self-destructive.
This simulation got to come to an end.
Simulation's got to be reset, man. Yeah? And that's what's coming, man. So you got to keep that in your mind. You, as an Israelite, don't be ashamed of our adversarial mindset. Don't be ashamed to be the adversary of this world. Don't, because to this world, you're going to be the villain.
Always, no matter what.
Guess what? In this world, we're the villains. Because a villain, the difference between a villain and a hero is ultimately perspective. From our perspective, where Yahushua is the hero, we're heroes in our own story. And that's the right story, the right perspective. But to these people, we're the villains. And we're going to be seen as villains. We're going to be cast down as villains. We're going to be talked about that you're the bad guy, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, you're evil, you're bad. You got to be willing to accept that and be like, alright, cool, if that's what it's got to be.
Because
that's what it's got to be.
Because we want to end your world.
We want this world to end. We want this thing to be just wrapped up, man.
But guess what? Yahushua wants the same thing.
Yeah.
He talks about the end of this world and how he's going to come and end it.
Vocab don't. Vocab want this wicked, demonic, pedophile world to carry on. And he got a problem with us, but that's all right. He's meant to be against us. But you can't allow yourself to be emotionally manipulated by these people, man. Don't let these demons manipulate you. You got to stand firm. Be that adversary. Be that adversary. Own it. We own it. No, we don't hate. Oh, you're hateful. Oh, we're not. Nah, we are hateful.
Or just say if you're not being credulity of them.
If they're not, listen, man. I will stand up and proudly, not proud, but honorably proclaim that I hate this world and I hate you devils, man, because it's the right thing to do. Don't let them shame you for what's right, because that's what they're gonna try and do. Your family gonna try and do that. To hell with them as well, then.
Yep. It's the book of Psalms 139 and 21. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee, and am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee?
That's right. And these guys, they hate the Most High, they hate His Son, and they hate the word of the Most High. They're going around trying to establish their own will and their own word. As much as these guys, especially these Edomite Christians, as much as they Jimmy Swaggart and that run around with the Bible, they don't actually care about what's in the Bible. That's why they twist the Bible to meet their own wicked, demonic means. Vocab Malone don't give a damn. That's why he don't even want to deal with prophecy. The reason he don't want to deal with prophecy because he doesn't care what the Most High said is going to happen. He cares what he wants to happen and how he feels about situations. And that's what matters to these people. But while they're doing all that, trying to establish their own will, the will of the Lord is still coming to pass. Because guess what? His kingdom is still crumbling around him. Like I said, France is on fire right now. And they can't solve that situation. It's only going to get worse. They want people to work for longer, work more hours. The average person cannot afford a house where they need to be to earn the money to live. You hear it is to earn the money, you got to live in London. or the surrounding areas, unless you're working from home. But at the same time, to pay the rent and to sucks all the money. And then now they're giving people pay rises that don't even match inflation.
Well, they never have. That's why they're so far behind now. You know?
Never have, yeah.
And that's been the problem, man. It should always been a link to inflation from the beginning.
But
they
these
never
guys
did
are
that.
supposed to have everything figured out, super smart, because they're wicked and they're demonic, and they never really wanted to create a sustainable world on it. Because the way of the world is righteousness. That's why the true money system is supposed to be one where thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, and check righteous, just weights and balances. And if you had that, you wouldn't have all the scumbaggery that's going on. But they don't have them. They believe in lying, they believe in defrauding, and they don't have no righteous checks and balances. They don't really care about the people. They only care about themselves and the love of money.
But leveraging should never even be a thing. Like, ever. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they make their money on, bro. That's
And
so
all
much
that,
fake money.
all that leverage is only suited to build a wicked world, to build up stadiums and build up, do wickedness to go towards their means. It's not even like they've done all that for the sake of the people. They've done it for themselves and to build their new world order.
And realistically, because when you got when you got more money than you actually have, man. Like in a game, you get a bunch of money, you just buy everything, right? You speed up things, right? You speed up the process of things, and that's why Esau's kingdom is speed up this process now, where it's going to be destroyed soon, man. Because ever since the Industrial Revolution and that, man, things have sped up so fast with the technology and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's where these banks are putting their money into corporates and, you know, all these businesses and that. Based off what?
Look,
The money, they
they're
got the
putting
money
their
for it.
money into infrastructure. And the infrastructure is for what? The New World Order. And the New World Order is what? Slavery. So basically all they've been doing is basically just building up a prison to put the people in. But the law's going to destroy the prison and put them in a new prison, which is going to be ours. The prison that we're going to build.
Controlled by us. Governed by us.
Governed. Yeah? Everything governed. Yeah?
So I just got one more verse now. I'll hand it back over. This is Jeremiah 25 and verse 29. It says, "For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name." And like I said, we drank at that cup, right? We went to slavery, right? "And should ye be utterly unpunished? Ye shall not be unpunished." So it's guaranteed that you're going to be punished. This is what we're telling you. We're going to be ones punishing you. Most High going to give us power to punish you, right?
Oh, Revelation 2.
"For I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, saith the Lord of hosts." What's that for? To knight you with? No, not to knight you, man. You got to heads get locked off, man. You know, death.
Terrible. Terrible, terrible.
Just on the point of the persecution. This is John 15 and 20. "Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will persecute you also. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me."
Right, so marvel not that these guys try every opportunity to slander us and to paint us in a negative light, because they want to persecute us. They want to paint us as the enemies of life, as the enemies of righteousness. That's what they're gonna do, because they did that to Yahweh Shai. They're gonna do it to us. That's why vocab is constantly looking for a reason. But he ain't looking for a reason when it comes to these Christian pastors are constantly swindling people and doing all kind of madness. He got nothing to say. But when it comes to the Hebrew Israelite, let man break wind in the elevator. He onto it. Oh, see, this guy here, he from one of the camp, One West camps, and he broke wind in the air in the elevator. They're wicked. Meanwhile, a Catholic priest can get done for, like, you know, giving blowjobs to 50 babies, and he'd just be silent, like, okay, cool, it's alright, I ain't got nothing to say. This is how it's gonna be. But we ain't gonna shy away. All we need to do is go into the scriptures and back up everything that we're saying and our faith, and the Lord is gonna be with us in these last days anyway. And then these guys are gonna be delivered into our hand, and there ain't gonna be no more debating, because the only thing we're gonna respond with is physical force. Hear that in Revelations 2 and 25.
Okay. The book of Revelation 2 and 25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end.
What's the works we got to keep? You know, loving our brother and the work of this ministry. That's the works. He ain't talking about like your career, you know, in Esau's world, because that ain't gonna mean nothing. That's just something that you do to pay certain bills or something like that. But that's not gonna give you salvation. What's that gonna mean? Listen, when all hell breaks loose, your career's not gonna mean nothing, because you ain't gonna have no career. When society collapses, what's your job's not even gonna be there, and you can't call HR for nothing. Susie from HR, she's dead.
Or payroll.
Payroll.
No one answering, man.
That's why I don't get why these guys were so focused in calling GMS bums and saying we ain't got jobs. What's that got to do with salvation? The main job that we're meant to have is the work of this ministry, and we're definitely on job when it comes to that.
Which funny enough, you guys don't want to go out at certain times, man.
In the winter, you take the winter off, man. So them man are seasonal working. Them man are working them seasonal jobs. Yeah? So you got to hold on to this, man. Hold on to this word and do the work of the ministry, which involves how you treat your brother, right? And the work of this ministry, which we're doing right now, preaching this word, exhorting our people. Because we know there's some of you out there that you on the fence, man. You're conflicted. But we're trying to pull you all the way over to this side, man. Radicalize you. Hey, because it is radical. What does the word radical mean? Compared to these boneheaded Christian Negroes, we are radical. But there's nothing wrong with being radical. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
What's wrong with being radical?
This is radical, especially of change or action.
It is a change. We was
from
slave-minded,
the status
weren't we? Slave-minded. If you go from death to life, is that not a change? It's a change. It is radical. We are radical compared to these boneheaded Negroes out here.
Yeah, it's not the status quo.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just drones in a system.
Which is what Vocab wants us to be.
That's right.
Just some typical African Americans that say we believe in Jesus, and then it don't matter after what we do after that. We could just be Bloods and Crips,
like everybody else.
kill each other. That's all right. He said we're the worst group. This guy made the statement that we're the worst group in the world, and you got the Bloods and the Crips out there just shooting each other up for nothing, over nothing, selling crack, and we're worse than them apparently, because we're coming up against the status quo. They're part of the status quo. They're part of. This is what did my man say? This is America. It's all part of Rome, isn't it? It plays its role in Rome.
Right.
We don't have a role in Rome. We're outside of Rome. We are something which has come from heaven. These things are of here, of the earth.
That's why we're not accepted.
That's why we're not accepted. He said we're the worst.
We've been taken out of the world. As Yahweh said, you know?
I mean, you do the removing heads of babies and shit. Go on.
This is relating to or affecting the fundamental nature of something. Far-reaching or thorough.
Far-reaching or thorough, relating to the fundamental. We're changing the fundamental nature of our people, because the fundamental nature of our people, previous to us, was death, was lack of understanding, was lack of wisdom, was folly, wickedness, slave-minded. Yeah. Our people were slave-minded. It's through this truth we're truly learning how to be sovereign. That we're not thinking what Esau thinks. We're not looking for validation, and that's a big problem them guys have. Because we don't need Esau. Oh, Esau needs to come and tell me that what I'm saying is right. Now fuck Esau. We don't even damn about you.
He ain't right.
And whether you think you believe. We don't lose sleep because you don't believe. Because really, we don't care whether you believe or not. Because when we put you in slavery, you're gonna believe.
It ain't gonna matter with you.
Yeah? Oh,
So-
we're gonna convert you.
So what if some don't believe?
So what?
That's our mindset. We don't care.
Oh,
Whether happy people or not.
oh, we need an Edomite to come and validate our beliefs.
The devil.
No, we don't.
The devil's gonna validate our beliefs.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So there's no point listening to him.
That's right.
There's no point listening to him. He ain't got anything good to say.
He wants us to go to his seminary school
And learn
we
it
can
his way,
so we
yeah.
can learn how
Be a zombie.
to break down the scriptures like him. Yeah. Yeah. Go join his goofy church and listen to his dead raps. Ain't gonna happen, man. Not even a million years. Go and hear your goofy raps.
It goes on to say as a noun, right? Advocating or based on thorough or complete political or social change, representing or supporting an extreme or progressive section of a political party.
We are extreme according to the ways of this world. Because this world is extremely wicked, right? So what's an extreme is one that all the way on the other side. You lot are on one side, which is extreme wickedness, and we're on the other side that represent for extreme righteousness. Like putting your ass in slavery. It's extreme righteousness. Yeah, we're on the other side, so we don't mind being called radical. We are trying to bring a change in Jake, which is the elect. The elect is a change. An extreme change. The big difference between an Israelite of the Most High and a nigger, I'll tell you that for free. Big difference. Two extremes.
That's that really
Big difference.
Proverbs 3:31, and it reads, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Because everything in this society leads to self-destruction in one way or another. And this man has had a track record of consistently proving that. That's why as the generations go on, people get more sicker. That like sickness nowadays, like back in the, like you have so many terminal illnesses that are now just a normality among people because of the fact that everyone in this society is just basically succumbed to the way of wickedness. And really we're also stricken with those sicknesses because of our sins as well.
I've watched advertisements for the time I've been alive. I watched advertisements for like prostate cancer and cancer in general, man, going up from 1 in 3 to 2 in 3. It's just going up, but we're meant to be progressing. I don't understand. We're meant to be progressing. They're getting all this money, all this funding to do all this research, but it's going up.
And then people just change one foolishness for another. So before everyone was just smoking down these cigarettes, now they're smoking down these vapes. And then so now before you see cigarette butts everywhere, now you got the disposable damn fucking vapes everywhere. And the balloon canisters, it's like they don't even put it in the bin. It's fucking just have you noticed that? Everywhere you look, you just see disposable. And I'm thinking like, what the fuck, blood? Just put it in the bin. What's wrong with you people, man? Use the bin.
It shows that society's getting worse.
Why would you just throw shit like that just on the floor, man, randomly? Even when I was in the depot.
Sometimes they're buy bins.
Yeah, it's
not in bin.
Put it in the bin, man. But yeah, man. It's this place, man.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
Power over the nations is what we're looking for. See, that the Christianity teaches you boneheaded Negroes that what you're looking for is to die and go to heaven. That's the basic goal of Christianity, is for you to die. It's not even really about, it literally when you understand, even Cartel said that's madness, man. So you want to die and go to heaven? No, you go, man. How the hell you want to die and go? That's your doctrine, is to die and go to heaven. Think about it. It's a foolishness. What doctrine is it to die and go to heaven? You do that anyway. That's not like, everyone does that, right? They die and they go to the spirit world.
That's automatic.
Where is it in the scriptures where our goal is the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth? There's not no two destinations. Oh yeah, well, there's one guy says the meek shall inherit the earth, and then the other person's going to go live in heaven. So what? There's some men are going to be in what? So that's confusion. That's why they're all confused. No, the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth. What we desire is something that's going to happen here in the earth.
Change.
And it's going to be a change. It's going to be establishment of the sons of the Heavenly Father on earth, which is us. So that's what we're desiring. That's what we're looking for, to get power. But who are we going to get power over? We're going to get power over the nations. What kind of power is that? Judicial power. The power to say yay or nay. The power to tell man they got to go over there or they got to go over there.
Because what's the point of Yahushua having power over the nations?
No.
That's what I'm saying. If everyone's supposed to die anyway,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense.
It's because of judgment day. Everyone's going to die and then some men are going to go to hell. So no, it's not. No. We're going to come and we're going to establish rules and laws, man, and order in the earth, man. Power over the nations. We're going to be the judge. Right now, Esau's the judge, or even when the Jake judging, what's he judging based on? Like even if you get a Jake, right, Judge Joe Brown or whatever, he ain't judging according to his people. He's judging according to legislations that Esau has determined. Even if they're in another country, you'll find that most countries' laws are based on another country's law. I'll give you an example. Like the state of Israel. State of Israel, the whole constitution and law is based upon British, Canadian, and Islamic law. They're not judging according to the righteousness of the scriptures. When we get power in the kingdom, we're going to judge according to the word of the Most High, perfectly. And it's going to be instituted like that from the first day. So if someone commits murder, then their judgment is according to what the book says. If someone commits adultery, then the judgment is going to be according to what the book says. Right or wrong, and morality is no longer going to be based upon, you know, you go on TikTok. There's one, I was watching one thing, this guy Turtle Kingdom or some bullshit, and the guy's got like 2 wives, innit? And all you get is people calling up, espousing how wicked he is and how these women should feel bad about themselves. And it's like, rah, so if them gal were on there talking about how she got 50 men and this man's paying her rent and she's giving up the panani, you wouldn't have all these people calling up. But because they got a man, they're sharing the one man. Everyone, even men are calling up saying, oh, my daughter this, daughter that. What's wrong with these people? It's just bullshit. Why? Because their sense of morality, their sense of what's right and wrong has been confused and been corrupted according to the ways of this world. So much of what's in the scriptures, which is actually right, that people are debating, oh, if you beat a child, whether that's abuse. Bro, everything, go on TikTok, everything they're debating on TikTok is something so basic in the scriptures there shouldn't even be a debate. You think in our kingdom people are going to sit there and debate what a man is or what a woman is, or sit there and debate like whether a man can have more than one wife, or sit there and debate whether a child, the Bible says you train up a child in the way that he should go, that when they're older, spare not the rod, spoil the child. It's not something, but they'll tell you that if you beat a child, that's evil, that's abuse. What are you talking about?
Ecclesiasticus 30:1. He that loveth his son causes him often to feel the Lord, that he may have joy of him in the end.
That's part of laying down the discipline, man. But again, you're cast out of the evil now if you rule according to that way. Well, guess what? In the kingdom, that's how we're going to be ruling, and that's going to be the new morality of the earth. That's going to be righteousness, man. We ain't going to be arguing about nothing, because anyone that wants to go against that grain is going to feel the brunt and the full force of the law.
See, what you don't understand, because you know most people out here are feeble-minded, right? They don't understand by not doing certain things like this, they have a knock-on effect, and hence why we end up with a bunch of unruly children and future adults and all this kind of business, just fucking up the earth, man. Like leaving fucking capsules in the fucking floor and shit. You know, being just reckless in the world, man.
Toxic. Well, when you got a dirty mind and a toxic mind, you're gonna affects the way you deal with the environment.
Yep. And it's gonna affect your societies that you live in. It's gonna affect the whole earth eventually, man. If you allow it to continue.
A clean mind will have a clean environment, man. A dirty mind has a dirty. It's destructive on the inside and on the out, man. So can't help it.
So correction is needed, man, to bring up, you know, righteous individuals, man.
And guess what? When you got power to do something, that means it comes with force, because you can't have power without force. So, and we're gonna have that force. We're gonna have that holy force that anyone that transgresses what we say are gonna be met with severe penalties, man. And that's what's gonna put these people right, man. Right now, you have to suffer the debates. There ain't gonna be no debate in the kingdom. Sitting there debating about this, that, and the other, man. Anyone that tries to espouse any foreign doctrine in the kingdom of heaven is going to be severely dealt with.
Well, like things like adultery and things like that, you think that if you knew, if you got caught, that you're going to get put to death, you think the numbers would be so high?
No.
Hell no.
But now they justify it, and it's just pure wickedness, man. Pure wickedness out here. But that's because, again, the powers that's in control now, that's what they're promoting. But we're going to get the power. When we receive that power, man, we're going to promote a whole different extreme. And it's going to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Very seriously. people are gonna watch what they speak, because they know if you start promoting adultery, idolatry, you already know what the judgment for spreading idolatry is. It's not nice.
Either chastises his son shall have joy of him in him, and he shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. Either teaches his son grievous the enemy, and he brought before his friend, he shall rejoice of him.
That's right. They don't even want you to teach your children, man. That's why they want to get them in these schools and teach them things that you don't even agree with. And then now, if you have a child and they decide that they want to be of a variant gender, they'll call it abusive if you don't so-called affirm it, which is folly. The woman was saying, oh, well, you know, if a child tells you that you're this, you're supposed to support them. That's what a good parent is. That's stupid, man. Basically what you're saying is you're not raising the child's raising you. How can a child tell you what's going on? When they're a child, their brain on it, they be eating crayons, man. Are you stupid? How can a child, bro, this shit just got me angry, man. I'm watching this, like, how can people, and this is a politician, so this is someone who's supposed to be a leader, someone that's supposed to have common sense. How can a child tells you something and it's your job to go along with what a child says when a child eats crayons? If it was up to a lot of children, they would sit there eating donuts forever and then die. You feel what I'm saying, bro? You got children that would just sit there and eat chocolate until they get sick, unless you tell them, listen, you can't eat all that chocolate because you're gonna get sick. Oh no, I have to affirm, yeah, have as much chocolate as you want.
That's responsible, right?
How is it even, it's train up a child in the way that you're supposed to train. When you train someone, you don't go along with what they're doing. Even if you got a football trainer, and I turn up to football training, and he's like, yeah, going in and out of the cones, this is how you pass, and I'm like, nah, fuck that, I'm gonna just do it like this. How does that work? Yeah, okay, however he wants to do it, we'll do it. Yeah, but that's handball, coach. Well, he wants to handball it. So I have to affirm. That's what a good coach does, right? No, you're a trainer. You're supposed to train them in the right way. And when they make mistakes, right, you correct them so that they learn. That's how you get like a LeBron James, and because they were taught by a trainer and said, listen, that technique you're doing ain't the right technique. That's why you're off on the shot. So now you need to fix that elbow. You need to and do it properly.
Yep.
That's what it means to train something. You know, the trainee doesn't tell the trainer. So a parent, well, how can a child tell a parent, oh, actually, I'm a girl? You don't even know what a girl is, bro. You just came off the breast, like, as we would say in the islands, I seen sun and moon long before you, and you're gonna come and tell me some foolishness like this. Oh, Daddy, I'm Spider-Man. No, you're not Spider-Man. Yeah, but this is part of the madness that we got to deal with in this world, man. Wait, man, I was watching it, I just got me vexed. I can't believe that someone said that and these people were there clapping it. So if my son decided that he wanted to kill people, he wanted to be a serial killer, would I affirm that as well? Oh yeah, well, you know, let me buy you a knife and a fucking and a scary movie mask. What does it mean? How far do you go with this to affirm anything a child wants to do? I want to be a crack dealer. Oh yeah. Here's your crack dealer starter kit. I'm gonna support you. Anyway, go on now, man. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
And that's really everything Esau does. Ultimately goes back to the ability to rob and to steal, because they're weakening the people. What is the end goal? You will own nothing. So the end goal of all this wickedness that Esau is pushing out is that he could turn around and basically take advantage of the people in their weakened state. What's the end goal of feminism? To effeminize the men, right? To attempt to make the women masculine, but they can't replace the masculine. Because it's not like when a woman's being masculine, it's not like she becomes a man. She can't become a man. She can only
Break
pretend.
down though.
So basically all you're doing is breaking down society and you're weakening the people so that another enemy who's strong can come in and take advantage. So now you got a bunch of single parent homes. Who do pedophiles target? Yeah? Who do con men target? The vulnerable. So you're creating vulnerable people.
It's not like the nation of women are gonna rise up and protect everybody when shit goes down. That ain't gonna happen.
Ain't gonna happen. In France right now with them riots and it gets real mucky out there. Most of them women ain't gonna be out there, man. It's the man them that's gonna be out there facing down danger, man. But that's why they want a bunch of effeminate dudes, man. Cause only an effeminate dude will let a pussy all come and tell me about you own nothing and like it. What do I look like to you, man? Do I look like your woman about I'll own nothing? I'm some kept woman. And I'm supposed to smile about that. Yeah, that's cool. They couldn't get away with talking shit like that like 500 years ago. They're already man's heads rolling down the street. But they could do it now because you've got a bunch of effeminate dudes. Effeminate dudes and simps who are only concerned with entertainment. It's mad.
Anyway,
lacking taking responsibility and accountability.
that's right here. So from John chapter 15 verse 18 says, if the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love his own. Okay, this is going to that change, man. Okay, we're not of this world. We want to change this world, you know. And ultimately, we're waiting upon Yahweh Shem Yahshua to do that. But we have our role to play right now, you know, right here, right now, in fishing for the elect, to preach the prophecy of the downfall of this kingdom.
And that's gonna make you hated, man.
Yep. It says, but because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you.
They're gonna hate, man, because man don't want to hear all this foolishness, man. And you just get vexed, man. You're sitting there and man talking about non-binary and I'm supposed to understand. I don't want to understand. Oh, it's not that hard. You know, when I was in the training, it's like, oh, you gotta put MX or something, and then the one lesbian, and these fucking lesbians, right? The thing about these fucking lesbians, yeah, they're just selfish people. All lesbians are just scared, selfish little girls that don't want to take no fucking responsibility. The only reason, like for instance, look at these studs. Look at the psychology of a stud. The psychology of a stud is you want to pretend to be a man because you're scared to be a woman. It's not that you're brave. You're not brave. They're not brave. Studs are not brave. Because when it really gets busy, they don't want to get busy. Studs don't want to get busy like how men get busy. 9 out of 10 studs, and when shit get real and they got to stand up like a man, they gonna revert. What it is that they're scared little bitches that they want to basically put on the mask of being a man, thinking that gives you some kind of protection. And they don't want to deal with a man because they don't want to have to deal with the realness. So they want to deal with a woman. Yeah, that's what these do. And they don't want to have children because they're scared again, because they don't want to push nothing out, and they're scared of the responsibility of having children. That's all lesbians are. They lack responsibility. Because when you have children, you gotta have responsibility now. But when you ain't, you can just run around scissor and go on holidays all day, but then pretend to be a man. But men end up growing up and having families. A stud can never do that. It's flipping studs, man. Get the hell out of here, man. I really dislike studs, man. I just don't see the point of it. What are you doing? You're better off being a woman than being a weak, fake male, like, cause that's all you are. Cause man, when the shit gets busy, you ain't on nothing, man. You ain't got the heart of a man. Just cause you wear your little shirt and you tie your breast down. It's just stupid, man. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's retarded as hell, man. And then you gotta sit there and watch this, and you just in your mind, you just put on a dress, man. Yeah? What's this?
But we still like the book is pushing about.
Yeah, but that's what it is. Everything now is pushing that. The cartoons have got non-binary characters now. That's why we know we're at the end of this thing.
W.H. Smith is selling the GAYBC's book. Like, it's fucked, man.
Pedophile area. That's why we gotta get out here. But when we get power, we're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna promote proper behavior.
Righteous behavior.
righteous
Wholesome,
behavior,
wholesome
man.
behavior.
Where men can grow up and be the best man you could be, and a woman will grow up and become the best woman she could be, which only makes sense. Because a man makes a terrible dog. I would believe. Yeah? And a dog will make a terrible man. Because you don't have the right characteristics or the right form. It's just natural. So you're better off trying to become the best you could be. You got a man on TikTok talk about he just had bottom surgery. Brother, what? That's not a real vagina, man. You're a terrible woman. Why would you would have been better off going to the gym and trying to become the best man you could be than cutting off your penis and becoming what? A fake woman. Like, you thought that was better. Go to the gym, you weak prick. Because every man can do that. Every man can go to the gym and sort himself out and train his mind. And the thing is, as a man, you can always make yourself into a better man. Why the hell would you chop your penis off? You've not done anything but made it where you could never be a proper man, So you failed. Just instant failure. You know that when you make a mistake and
Gave up and you lost. You know.
you just you know when you do your the driving test. If you click the button too many times, it's like an instant failure. That's what that is, man. You chopped off your penis, it's an instant failure. You can't win after that. There's no prize. You lose, you lost, man. Foolishness, man. Yeah, go on, chopped off the penis.
This is,
I'm feeling a little bit of pain. Right. Got a fucking hole where your penis used to be, bro. You should have just went to the gym, bro. You should have watched The Rock, David Goggins, and get yourself some and charged up, man. But again, these dudes are mentally. Instead of facing the battle it takes to become a stronger man, you just gave up, man, and wanted to become a bitch, man. And you still ain't good at that because niggas are looking at you like, bro. Then you start crying, nobody wants to deal with you because you don't even make a good bitch, man. You fucking dickheads. You couldn't even make a good bitch. Nobody wants you, man.
They're still not happy, man.
How can you be happy, man? Even men are looking at you like, bro, you're not even what we want, though. So what was the point of doing all that? Oh, why won't no men deal with me? Because you're a fucking grotesque man. You're not a woman. Fucking idiot. Go on,
you say, Waterstones, the UK leading high street
and
book.
find out that you really was a man and kill you. You know, that's how bad it is. Yeah, okay, go.
Waterstone, the UK leading high street book, Litera has shortlisted a book entitled My Trans Teen Misadventure by Lewis Hancock. I may jump down and say, books appearing on the shortlist can expect to significantly boost their sales by pricing.
So they have to promote it, man. It's not that people want it. It's not that they ask for it. They have to promote it, man, and convince people that that's what everyone's doing. Everyone's buying it to get you to buy into the shit. You know?
And the popularity as Waterstone will ensure that they are foregrounded in stores, meaning that they will be given a prominent position on display aimed at children and parents to entice them into a purchase.
Yeah, so boycott Waterstones. You know?
Yeah. WK Smith and all of them.
You know what I'm saying? You know, like I say, it has to be pushed out there, man, because they ain't gonna push. They ain't gonna push. You know, something that's not against, not with the agenda that the world's pushing. They're not gonna push that. Right? They have an agenda to push. Yeah. Right. So that's what they're gonna push. That's what they're gonna feed you, man. That wine, that bullshit wine to make man drunk. Everyone drunk.
My Trans Teen Misadventure preys upon the natural anxieties of pubescent and adolescent girls about their appearance and encourage them to despise their developing bodies and the perfect natural body hair and image label of breast as fat.
Right, so what happens is a lot of girls naturally, as they're going through puberty, they get like body conscious, innit? And then so they prey upon that anxiety and that consciousness that these young women have, and then convince them that really they want to transform their body into something else. It's just real demonic. It's spell casting, man. It's real demonic, man, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these girls, even that they're twisting the wrong way, were just basically, some girls are slightly more mannish. Some girls are, you know, a little bit more
tomboy.
like a tomboyish, but that don't mean they're lesbian or they want to be trans. but they'll push you that way.
Eventually, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You probably just want to be a man. And we can help you with that.
No,
Yeah,
and we
you
knew
got
a
the
few
wrong
girls like
body.
that.
Yeah. We'll pay for it.
We knew a few girls like that.
Yeah.
Remember Ashley and all them? And Ashley started busting her dress. Ashley was fine as hell, bro. I ain't gonna fucking lie. She's a bad girl though. But she ain't no lesbian. But she'll fuck you up. But she ain't no lesbian though. You know what I'm saying? No, Ashley was a real bad girl. I ain't gonna lie. But when you see her now as she's older, she's dealing with man. You know what I mean? Because you outgrow a lot of that, innit? You realize like, hold on, I'm a woman, innit? And my glory is in being a woman. My glory ain't being no man. No one respects you for that. Go on.
An image labels breasts as fat lumps that could be gone, describes hips from hell, and even point toward an imaginary will. The book also features cartoons of child being injected with puberty blockers. Or,
All this unnatural shit. You know? Esau destroying all kinds of fabric of life, man.
That's why he got to go into slavery to learn the error of his ways, man. But he even got to pay for that because really, ultimately, that's a form of mutilation. You know, that's child abuse, man. To do that to someone. You know, to convince them psychologists like what's his name, Hannibal Lecter, man. You get in the room with these psychologists and psychologists convincing them that they fucking got to chop off their penises or chop off their breasts, man. That's real demonic, you know.
But they will try and outlaw circles.
Yeah.
They say that's genital mutilation, some shit.
Yeah.
You know? But you're chopping off whole rods. You understand? You're chopping whole rods off. You know? Triggering them for life. You know what I'm saying?
Through all that
Not even
pain.
unfunctional. For life, you're doing that. But the circumcision is bad.
And they got to be a
trans-
hormone
trans-
therapy as well
Yeah.
because you've now removed your gonads. Because your testicles actually, they're gonads, they play a role in your hormonal balance.
Their health.
So once you remove your testicles, you're basically, you know, your hormones all out of whack. You know, your testosterone level is there for a reason, you're a man. You're not really supposed to be castrated, man. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to be castrated, it's part of your body, man.
Part of your members.
Yeah, man, but Esau, man.
Right, can I just grab this quickly? It's Micah 2 verse 1 says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
And like I said, this whole transgender thing is all witchcraft at the end of the day. It goes back to the spirit and the image of Baphomet, man. The whole idea of as above, so below. The rebus, man. It's literally nothing more than witchcraft, man. Mass witchcraft that they're doing on the people, man. That's all it is, man. It's super demonic. It's absolutely demonic. But, you know, the Lord is, the more they're doing it, the more the Lord's bringing judgment. Like I said, look at France. The riots are coming here. Oh, this whole thing with Trump. The spring equal, because these guys are all, ain't it funny? I was discussing it before that, right? All this stuff happened with the banks, right? Leading up to the spring equinox. And then right on the equinox, Trump comes out. Yeah, the Passover was there. Trump comes out and said they're going to arrest him on the Tuesday, which is the actual spring equinox. So they do everything according to the stars and the astrologies. So you never know. They could, if that could be a catalyst for riots. Because isn't he saying his followers should protest?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man. Like things are gonna get more spooky out here, man. But it's good because it needs to be. So this place needs to be dissolved so that we can turn around and set up something which is actually beautiful, sustainable, and righteous, man.
That's right.
Where we ain't gonna be worrying about pensions and all this bullshit that Esau's doing. You know?
I was just going to make a point that even the perversions of the scriptures they got the gay Bible that they're promoting out here everywhere, and like if you actually go into some of the shit that they got in there, bro, it's fucking.
I want to see that.
Yeah, vocab ain't got nothing to say about that.
You got
Blasphemy. Well, see, they're gonna pervert the Bible, but you see, we have the true words of the Lord, and the word of the Lord is still going to be published in the earth, and it's going to become what it's supposed to be. It's going to be at the center of every household in the world, actually. even among the heathen, the word of the Lord is going to be at the center of that house. The word of the Lord is going to prevail throughout all the earth, man. And they ain't going to be like now where you got all of this confusion. So you have to have all this debate. Everyone's debating this, does God exist? Does this? All this debating going on, man, all over TikTok. I see it. That's all going to be done away with, man. But it starts with us, this kingdom being destroyed, and us coming up into our kingdom and putting these heathens into submission, so they begin to learn the errors of their ways and be brainwashed and be re-educated in the right way. You know? We'll close up in a second. I know Bob's got to go.
So this is Revelations, the 21st chapter, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their God. And he shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
The Lord's not interested or concerned about everybody's tears, everybody's pains. The Lord is coming to wipe the tears of Israel, man. Our frustrations, our griefs, to wipe them all away.
Create something for you, lot.
Yeah. He's gonna make you mourn.
And they're gonna be crying because they're gonna lose everything. The ones, especially the heathens, that you actually survive from this side and you go over to the other, and you're gonna be thinking about how far you fell, man. And it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, man. You're gonna think of all the family members that got wasted before your eyes. But we're gonna be rejoicing. And that's how it was in Egypt. We were rejoicing on one side, and the Egyptians were crying on the other side. And that's how it's gonna be again. You're keeping up your foolishness, man. So stay, closing with that, man. Look, stay firm to the course, man. Right? Don't let this world try and move you into the emotions and the feelings and the viewpoints of the world, man, and stand firm. And you find that as you go along, the spirit that's on you, man, you just straight against it. Be adversarial to the world, man. Because even when you're trying not to be adversarial, you can't help it. You can't help it, man, because as soon as these people open their mouths, like I was sitting there, when I was sitting in the training as well, they were coming up with some scenarios, man. And the feminism, like the one dude, man, his woman just stopped working. His woman stopped doing the domestic chores and started to go out. And then he got into depression. And all the women in the class were blaming him. And all the men then were like, wait, hold on. Like, what? How's getting blamed? And he's, bro, the feminism is real out here, man. And it's very distasteful.
Even in my place of work, they try to put pressure on you where you gotta have like pronouns before your name, and on like you gotta distinctify how you like to be referenced, because you don't want to offend people that got particular taste. You'll have a grown man that'll be like, yeah, call me they, he, and she, like on a like. Bro, literally, it's fucked.
Yeah, this space is lost its mind, man. It's ludicrous what's going on here, man. That's why this place needs to be put to bed.
Yeah, once it's fallen to that level of confusion, there's only one thing that can happen, and that's reset, because it's obviously gone too far now. But you got a scripture to close out on? Yeah, go.
2 Ezra 15:6. For wickedness hath exceeding polluted the whole earth, and their artful works are fulfilled.
Yeah, because this thing's gone out throughout the whole earth, man, and mainly through the media. A lot of this stuff is being exported throughout the world through movies and media, man. Coming out of America and Britain, man, exporting all this weirdness and this freakiness, man.
I remember there was a period in the early 2000s where they were going hard to protect them as well. Like when we used to be like in Oxford Circus, they used to have them bosses coming around saying, if you've got a problem with such and such's orientation, then you're the problem and you're the issue. And then they were encouraging them to start reporting people that adverts
well,
everywhere.
They added LGBT onto the Jake's pipe. So now racism and LGBTs are hand in hand. And they try to say, oh, it's just like if you're not liking me for being a Flomo, it's just like you not liking me because I've got black penis. I was like, no, it's not. No, it's not the same, man. I detest that thought. you not liking me because I'm an Israelite is completely different to you being an abomination in the earth, man. But you know, Esau, he's a devil, man.
It goes on, so therefore said the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cries unto me, and the souls of just complain continually.
Yeah, can't go on.
You break it down, bro. Is it running?
Hmm.
You can break it down.
Second Ezra 15 and 6, 7 and 8. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves.
Yeah, because our people are continually oppressed by this devil. Every single day we're upon the face of this planet Earth until the Lord comes back and redeems us. Like even now, I just seen it on someone posted an article around another Jake that's been killed by apparently in police protection, and you got Jake's getting ready to go and march and talk about please give basically beg Esau to change his ways again, because we have no power in our hands and we're continually oppressed because we ain't got no power to change it.
He's still going to be put in a position of begging, right? Because that's where his rightful place should be anyway, right? Because we're meant to be the rulers of this earth, believe it or not, right? Ordained by the Heavenly Father, man. Ordained, right? Not because we choose to be
Or not by vote either.
Yeah, right?
We're not going to be anointed by the people to be the princes. We're not being
the Lord made that decision by himself, by himself, with nobody's input, right? And nobody's input is valid even now. No one cares. Most I don't care about what you want, what you feel, right? The Most High made the decision, man, and we're going to be on top when all this is said and done. And we're going to put the nations in order, as the Most High wants it to be, right? All this is a fight against God. This is what it is. You people are fighting against God and His will and His order.
It's not a fight you can win.
It's not a fight you can win, man. It's futile. Yep.
Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cries unto me, and the righteous blood cries unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually.
Right, so our people always in misery, always in mourning, always crying, always trying to pray to the Lord for justice to occur, right? But right now nothing's happening, because now is not the time of vengeance. Now is not the time of that justice just yet. But that justice is coming. That vengeance is coming. The Lord ain't none of those cries or pleas that fell on deaf ears. It's just a time that's allotted for that to have to take place, and that time is coming soon, man. The day of the Lord, right?
Controversy of Zion.
That's right.
And therefore, said the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
Surely avenge them. We're not out here thinking maybe, right? We fully wholeheartedly believe the Lord is going to come down and judge all you people, man, for the sake of Zion, like the brother just said, right? Because of all the pain and suffering that we've been under, right? Surely we will be avenged, and that is all we're saying, man.
Then it says, "Shall not the Lord avenge His very elect?"
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, like Abraham, he came coming, Slaughter.
Over the years, all the fuck that the Edomites did onto us and our past lives as well, man. Like what they did, apart from John the Revelator, all the other 11 apostles slaughtered, man, in previous ways, man, and the followers of the Messiah also. So the Lord's gonna come back and judge them for not just this time, but also all the previous lifetimes that Esau's done.
Well, what does the scripture say? Precious is in the sight of the blood of the saints, Like the Lord is not letting nothing slide, man. The Lord is not a forgetter.
Requires that which is past.
Requires that which is past, is right. Okay, and all we're doing is throwing it in your face. We let you know that this is what you've done. This is what you've done, and this is what you're gonna be paying for. Right? You can hate us as much as you want for that. We don't give a fuck. Right? That doesn't stop the judgment from coming upon you, man. According to as the Lord wills it. Yep.
Because you got like this Jake basically that died where he apparently got caught by an Edomite mob and then got found dead in the river, and his family are having to beg the police to investigate. But then if that was an Edomite on the other way around, just suddenly you got found mysterious. The culprits will be under the jail very next day. Right, just goes to show, man.
Yeah, but that's why they just gotta repent, man. Because you ain't gonna get justice in Esau's kingdom anyway. So just the Lord is, so when them fiery missiles come, man's gonna get hurt, man. That's it. That's why, you know, you gotta put things in its proper perspective, man. I wouldn't be protesting for nothing. I'll just sit there and wait my time.
Well, the serpent is here.
Yeah,
right? So Esau ain't trying to hear you, man. He don't care about how you know, your plight and your feelings. And
you're better off doing the work of the ministry. That's all you should. That's all you need to do. Instead of putting your energy into protesting, put your energy into the work of the ministry. And in due time, the Lord is going to plead your cause anyway.
That's right.
Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with spread as before, and will destroy all the land thereof.
So that's what it's going to be, man. And we'll close upon that. But that's how it's going to be, man. The Lord is going to bring more and more plagues onto Babylon, and he's even using the elites of Esau to bring it. Yeah? Remember this banking situation, don't worry, it's still ongoing. And we're seeing how that's going to unfold over the rest of the month. And you got the Trump situation as well. And then I believe you had this thing where they issued an arrest warrant for Putin.
Yeah,
So foolishness, man. Yeah, Putin was laughing. Putin was laughing about that. Like, what are you talking about? How are you going to arrest me?
In my country.
What? You know what? You think I'm going to come to America for you to arrest me or something? Like, what do you think? I already don't rate you, man, so I don't go to your country. So where are you going to arrest me at? Listen, it's going to be a shootout. What are you going to do? Arrest? Anyway, but we'll see how it all goes up, man.
But the destination is locked in regardless, man.
Yeah, wow. That's going to come too. And that's why that keeps bubbling in the background, man. While these other things are happening, it keeps bubbling and simmering, because there's going to come a time where that's going to have to come to the forefront. Well, other things have to happen before that. Okay. So, we'll close up. Say, Kar Halal,
Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Chakwadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone.
Shalom.
Honor to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways. Shalom.
Shalom.